Rock and roll.
Ready to go.
You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, we're
Do you
back.
like rock and roll?
I do. I like some rock and roll.
Me too. Love it.
Although rock and roll sounds like it sounds old. I mean, what do you think of when you think of rock and roll? Like when you hear that term, what comes to mind?
I'm an experiential based person, so like experiences. Music is like heavily impacts my overall experience, right? It's one of the sense, it touches on a lot of senses when you're out there. Mm-hmm. So I think of driving my truck with the windows down on an open highway, or I think about being in the gym.
Is there an artist that comes to mind when you think of the term rock?
Aerosmith.
Oh, okay, yeah, that takes me back. I was thinking like Bon Jovi,
Aerosmith.
Bruce Springsteen, maybe.
That's like somebody says a word and the first thing that comes to mind, like the picture in your mind, Aerosmith, man. 70-year-old lady dancing around on stage.
Did you say 70? Yeah.
70-year-old lady.
That's what I mean by rock and roll. It feels dated. I think like within rock and roll right now, you have punk, you have metal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
The roll part always sounds weird to me. Like, yeah, I can get the rocking, but what?
You're on a roll, bro. Like, yeah.
Are you on a roll or you're rolling? Like,
I don't know.
Like on the ground rolling. That's like part of the party.
You're on the honor roll.
That's a good question.
Honor roll. Honor roll.
That's a good question. Can I talk about how pumped I am that it's just the boys backing in?
Yeah, it is kind of nice.
We've been meaning to do this for a while, but we've had a lot of guests. Just kind of went to the Western Hunting Expo, then we had some guys in town, and it just kind of kept rolling. We got the UFC guys in town, so like it was just guest after guest. But now we're back. The boys are buzzing.
We are officially back.
Yeah, you got to take the time when we got people in town to like record good podcasts with guests, and we had some good ones. We had some good guests in Salt Lake, and you guys had Bader on, which is super cool. I listened to that yesterday.
Bader's a stud. Yeah. We're going to get Chandler on here pretty soon too,
which was really cool. I had Derek Wolf and the guys from Apex next, which was cool. You got some Conquer right there.
It's my podcast PED right there.
You got a serious roll of Rogues right there.
Yeah, that's my
Is that for the day?
Podcast PED. I just I bounce back between the 6s and 3s, and then I go to the greens and back to blues.
There you go.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about Rogues? What I've noticed is, you know how Gatorades, nobody knows the flavor; they just all call it by the color. Yeah. Everyone is the same with Rogues. Hey, you got some blue ones, you got some green ones. I don't even know what the
actual flavors are.
Yeah.
Lean back. Pull this mic closer to me and lean back. I can't put my elbows on the table.
What's that one that you had, Trail? The cinnamon one?
Cinnamon burns.
That's what's good.
Burning. I don't know, man. I can't do it.
I like cinnamon in general.
Yeah,
like cinnamon Jolly Ranchers. Yeah, those are the best.
I don't like sugar, so I don't know.
You don't?
I just say yeah to it.
Stays true to it, and I love it.
But yeah, we got the three of us back, which is good. We got a bunch of topics.
We're missing.
We're missing this guy.
We've been asked a lot about him too, which honestly, like, looking back, we do feel bad, but like I said, we had all those guests, so it just like wasn't.
We were waiting for the time when we were talking about Christopher Neville here.
Yeah, talk about Neb Doggy. We never had the right time, and nobody wants our drama in our life. Everybody's got their own. But anyways, so Neville was a stud, great guy, and he fell in love and moved to Colorado.
I think the true definition is Twitter-pated.
Twitter-pated?
Twitter-pated.
Yeah.
You ever watch Bambi?
Yeah, it's
all the animals, and Bambi was like all the animals are getting Twitter-pated, getting in love, like
kind of like the word. It's the more I'm hearing it.
Like that's the true definition of what Neville got. We all joke that he needs to find himself a nice lady. He found himself an awesome lady.
I mean, we tried to talk him into staying in Vegas. We still do a ton of work with him. I was just on a meeting with him yesterday, but obviously being like in Colorado and not in Vegas, it's going to be difficult to have him like part of the boys like it used to be. So he fell in love, moved to Colorado, living life out there. He packed his truck up, left. How long has he been gone for? When did he leave?
Since like late November, I think. Late November. Yeah, it was when I was in Tajikistan. He was gone. Yeah. So
we still work a ton with him. Like I said, we love Neville. We wanted him to stay.
For everyone watching, there's a little shout out to Mr.
Oh,
Neville.
Yeah, go
I still drink out of his mug that he forgot here. His Iowa Hawkeyes mug.
He left a little piece of him.
Yeah, so I stole it, even though I'm not an Iowa boy. But
yeah, it's what happens when you fall in love, man. Weird things happen.
We wish him the best. He's doing great out there. I just talked to him probably 5 minutes before we jumped on. Just catch up. He's still doing some work for us.
Oh yeah, does a ton of work. Still manages all like our video content. Does a lot of still like managing content, but just as far as a face and being on the podcast and doing this and that, it's obviously, until Elon develops time travel.
Yep.
It's going to be a little difficult to have him a part of it. So
Yeah, and good on him. I mean,
I
his girlfriend Abby. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Shout out Abby.
I'm a huge fan of Abby.
Yep.
I met her a few times. They were nice enough when I was in Vegas. I would stay over sometimes at their place, and she's super.
So
cool.
he moved for a good reason.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
And
full support.
The only thing I'm more sad about though too is like I miss Summit.
Oh yeah, the dog.
Abby's dog.
Who do you miss more, Summit or no?
Summit.
My son misses Summit.
Yeah,
he always asks me about the big dog.
But the cool thing is though, he's a Colorado resident now.
I know that is
It's
cool.
true.
I think he's going to be able to, turn his residency in. So by the time hunting season comes around, he'll be able to pick up some resident tags and that sort of thing. But like, it's a pretty good state to be a resident.
I'm extremely jealous.
Yeah, I was telling him all those non-resident points that he was building for elk in Colorado just became that much more important because as a resident, it opens up some doors for him that were unavailable.
If I moved to Colorado right now as a resident, holy shit, man, I'm in the pool.
Yeah, you go. I mean, at his point level in Colorado for elk, I mean, he essentially goes from 20% of the available tags for non-residents to 80%.
80%.
Yeah, it opens up some doors, and there's definitely some good hunts that are available to him now at his point level as a resident that were not as a non-resident.
Yeah,
I mean, good for him.
That's pretty sick.
And he's still young. I mean, what is he? 27, 28.
Yeah,
you know,
something like that. Yeah,
right at the age to get Twitter paid.
Yep. He's smitten with love.
Smitten with love.
I told him 30. He has to wait till 30 to get married.
I lost a bet last year. I thought he was going to get engaged by Christmas, and he didn't.
We all did say I was on your side, but I mean,
but the move thing,
the
though,
common
that's
law.
kind of,
I mean, the guy moved and they're cohabitating. Isn't that the word for it? They're cohabitating in a new state, so that kind of counts.
Yeah, I don't know that word existed when I was growing up. It's just, especially in Utah.
poor nut doggy.
It was just married.
You were straight going to hell.
Yeah, it's true.
If you cohabitated.
Oh man,
is what it is. But yeah, we love Neville. So for all of you that have been asking, I mean, that's essentially the situation. Neville moved to Colorado. Wished he was on. Wished he was still here.
Yeah.
Love the dude. Still working with us. Good relationship with that guy, and wish him nothing but the best. And continue to work with us as well.
Yep.
So. Yeah. Cool. What else? We got a lot of topics today to cover. We kind of laid them out earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Kind of picked some ideas. There's a lot going on, it feels like, which is why I think we decided to have this type of podcast now. Just kind of a round table, kick around some topics that we're all thinking about, stuff that's, hot off the press.
There's a lot of hot topics too.
There are.
Might get heated.
Before we dive deep,
I think our opinions are all the same.
I know that's the thing is that it could potentially be heated, but I think we're all kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
We've all strayed away from talking about it like fully, so we could do this together and not like know exactly what each other is going to say, but we all kind of know each other too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So to get going on that, do you want to just dive in? We want to tackle the first one.
Charlie, I want you to hit us with the promo code.
Promo code podcast. If you guys are wanting to sign up for a GOHUNT Insider account, which if you're not a member, you should be. If you want to hunt out west, it's really the key to getting a permit to put yourself in the field this fall. Use the promo code podcast when you sign up for a GOHUNT Insider account. We're going to give you 50 points, which is $50 into the GOHUNT Gear Shop. So you can use that towards the purchase of any gear that you want in the GOHUNT Gear Shop. I was looking at doing some videos later this afternoon. We have a bunch of new gear coming in. We have a bunch of new archery stuff coming in, which I'm stoked about.
Me too.
Some new sites, which I've been trying to, lobbying for, in essence, to bring into the shop. So right now is a great time to sign up for an insider account, do your research, apply for permits, get a chance to go hunting, and then use that 50 points, $50 to buy yourself some gear to help you be that much more successful in the fall. So, podcast, promo.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was really good. I'm proud of you, Trill.
That was really good. You guys both.
I get 3 hours. See, when I drive down here, I get essentially like 2.5 hours.
So you were just rehearsing
to
that
rehearse.
The whole
I rehearse. It takes me back to.
You technically time traveled, by the way.
Yeah, that's it.
2.5 hours, but it was only an hour.
That's it. Yeah.
That's why I wanted you to jump in that first, because I figured we can jump into some of the deadlines we got coming up. So like Trill said, right now is application season. Like you've been crunching on, New Mexico app strategy articles.
Woof. Yep.
So those are a beast. If anyone hasn't checked out our New Mexico application strategy articles, you will see how long and in-depth they are, because how many freaking species do we got there? When including exotics. Exotics is the one where it gets really long.
And a lot of people are interested in the exotics.
Yeah.
I love that opportunity at free-range wild
Oryx,
exotics.
Barbary sheep,
awesome.
Ibex. My gosh.
I love that.
Yep, you got all the exotic species. Bighorn sheep, which is when Lorenzo drew a tag in New Mexico.
Deserts and bighorns.
You got desert and Rockies, and phenomenal trophy quality.
Oh man,
in New Mexico, it's one of the states I would say. I mean, maybe Arizona for deserts. I mean, they've got some big sheep, but overall, New Mexico has been kind of a standout in the last few years for trophy bighorn sheep. Odds are extremely stiff, but once again, random draw.
Yeah.
You never know. You drew a tag, like I said.
I did.
But yeah, New Mexico, you got deer, elk, antelope, Barbary, ibex, oryx, bighorn.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot coos.
And coos too. Yeah, that's right.
Coos, deer.
Hey,
Yeah.
we also added javelina.
Yes,
And we
did.
added turkey draw
Yes, we
odds
did.
and unit
And bear.
profile information, and
Yep.
and we got bear stuff. So we're adding new things all the time to Insider.
New
which is-
Mexico's that's a beast.
Yeah, every time I write one of those, it's a double-edged sword because it's super time consuming. But I learn so much. Like
Yeah.
every year, like I'm refreshed and like I get excited about the hunts. I get excited about application season, especially when I start to dig in and I start looking at elk units. I've been really excited about deer in New Mexico, which a lot of people don't talk about deer in New Mexico, and I think they largely look at it as like an opportunity type state. Every time I write an app strategy for deer in New Mexico, I get stoked and I want to go hunt deer in New Mexico. I just have never done it.
Coos or mule?
Muleys.
Really?
Yeah.
I was hoping you were going to say coos. I didn't want you
Our
to talk
good
about mule
friend,
deer.
our good friend and acquaintance Dennis Lee had a New Mexico mule deer tag.
Yeah, he had one of the better ones, right?
And ever since he reported back, I have wanted a tag ever since.
Yeah. You start looking at New Mexico as a whole. I mean, a lot of that state is really dry, and you got some low country that's either like, low-lying scrub type land, or you got some PJ mix. And, like Arizona, it's a dry state for the most part, and a lot of antler growth in those southern states. It depends on moisture. And I mean, that's one thing I get excited about. I start looking at the moisture maps, the drought index maps from year over year.
Yep.
And I mean, it's still dry in New Mexico, but man, they are heads above what they
And
have
I'll tell
been
you
the
what I
last 2
get
years.
really excited about is not just the precipitation as a whole, but it's snowpack precipitation.
Have you checked out the Vegas Valley one recently? Not to get off the subject of New Mexico.
Yeah.
But
That was
my gosh, it's like 200.
It's crazy. And
84%.
the good news too is it's snowpack precipitation, which we're desert rats down here. Snowpack is a lot more important than just straight rain, because rain runs off so fast on all that slick rock and doesn't exactly get as deep as it needs to really help the vegetation out. I mean, it obviously helps. We'll take anything we can get, but when it's snowpack and it does the slow settle and melt, that's a lot more important.
Yeah, New Mexico, I mean, if you look at it, I think a lot of people don't realize that New Mexico's, it's got some extremely high ranges.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of those ranges in New Mexico, I mean, it's 10,000, 12,000 feet. I mean, it's high country, holds moisture, holds a good snowpack, good summer range for deer. And I would say, for elk as well. But like when you look at New Mexico, specifically in regards to trophy potential, there's some areas that have got good moisture, good growth, good summer range, and I think there's some potential there, at least in my research and just digging through, New Mexico for deer specifically. There's some potential there that I think it's out there.
Yeah.
And draw odds. I don't know if you guys ever look at draw odds for deer in New Mexico.
All the time.
But draw odds are actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
They're really good for residents. I mean, there's no reason a resident couldn't put a deer tag in their pocket pretty consistently. Even for non-residents right now, I mean,
when you look at
it's
everything
not on your
else,
radar, it should be.
Yeah. When you look at everything else as a whole, draw odds, like New Mexico is definitely, you should be in it, you know, like comparably to some of the other stuff.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So New Mexico, like you asked, it's coming up March 22nd.
March 22nd. And that's also the same time as like all the guide draw stuff too. They don't have a separate one like Nevada does.
Nope. Yeah,
So
you
March
have
22nd.
you have 3 pools of permits, essentially guide draw, which is a cool opportunity in New Mexico. There's a pool of permits, which is up to 10% of their allocated permits for each hunt code can go in the guide draw, and that doesn't necessarily have to be to a non-resident or a resident. I mean, both residents and non-residents can apply in the guide draw. And, if you can get a guide agreement, you have to have a signed agreement in place with a guide to go into that guide draw before you apply. But odds are better for those hunts because there are a few people that are willing to go guided. And, I mean, they also have a unique program wherein, and I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm going to. Why not, right? New Mexico, like the law for guides and outfitters down there is they have to guide you for two full days. So it has to be like the first 2 days of your hunt. A lot of guides and outfitters, I would assume, would probably prefer to do a fully guided hunt, so they get the most bang for their buck. But for those guys that are out there and they're willing to guide, 2 hunts or 2 days, you meet your agreement and, essentially you get that tag. And after that, you can go hunt on your own if you want to. And it does put you into that guide draw, which does have a higher allocation of permits. So
it's a nice little loophole.
Yeah. Nice perk.
Great one.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody's got this precipitation map pulled up. Go over to New Mexico. Can't quite see New Mexico.
Yeah. So you can see there are pockets there that are 100%,
for sure.
178%. Southern end of the state. I mean, you look over there on the Gila, 184%, 164% in the south end of the state. But then you have a lot of the state that is, kind of status quo. If you were to look at that from 2020 and 2021, you would see it was like super droughty.
Yeah,
really dry.
Bad.
Which
Really
is why
bad.
I think it's a great time to talk about my article I released yesterday on this exact same subject.
Yeah, let's do that. We kind of covered New Mexico. I mean, like I said, deadline coming up.
New Mexico is awesome. I will forever be indebted to New Mexico for the sheep tag that I drew out of there. I mean, I'll always have a special place for that state. But I mean, even looking at it unbiased, it is a go-to state for sure.
Yeah, and we've done a video, what you need to know for New Mexico. You guys can check that out. Completely random draw, no point system. I like that fact. You get 3 choices. I wish more states would do that. They take into account all 3 of your choices before they move to the next applicant, so you can kind of stagger your hunts. I love New Mexico. I like their draw system, and I've never had a bad hunt in New Mexico, ever.
Or should we talk about your aoudad hunt?
Yeah, we can talk about aoudad.
Talk about aoudad. Well,
how'd that go?
Then we get back in my snowpack thing.
Yeah, I went down. I drew an aoudad tag. Drew that in the guide draw, actually, just like I said. Went down, met my 2-day agreement. And then after that, was able to hunt on my own. I looked at 250 plus sheep in 6 days, 7 days, and didn't see a lot of rams. And it was like one of those. I think I probably saw 4 or 5 rams. I would say probably only one that was potentially bigger than the ewe that I shot, which kind of preface it with that. I did shoot a ewe. But yeah, ton of fun. Just super cool country.
Gnarly country.
Yeah. Really.
Why do you think it was with the rammed ewe?
Well, here's the thing. I've never hunted Barbary sheep, and I've gone back and forth. I'm debating on whether it's just if there's just not as many rams, if like their ratio is a little bit skewed, like if there just really are a lot more ewes in that unit or those units than there are rams, or probably more likely is my opinion is those rams are probably there. They were, not breeding season. They breed a couple times a year is my understanding.
Yeah.
Typically like October and then maybe like February, like mid-February, late February. So I'm thinking that like I just didn't find those pockets of rams. And again, I don't know enough about the species and I haven't ever hunted down there to kind of know what, specifically to be looking for to really find the rams. So that's my guess, is I just didn't find those pockets of rams. I think they're probably there. I just didn't find them.
Yeah. Would you do it again? Did you like the hunt?
Dude, I'm addicted.
Yeah.
What was the most fun thing you realized about hunting Barbary, or whoever wants to call them Barbary / aoudad, compared to other species? Like what makes it exciting and like makes you want to come back that badly?
I mean, for me, it was a brand new species. Never hunted it, which is always cool. It's the only sheep species I've ever hunted. Probably the only species I'll ever hunt. So in that
Don't
regard,
put that out there.
So in that regard, it was super cool. I think they're a cool animal. I mean, I just think they look cool. They got the shaps, long beard. They've got cool horns. And then just the country. I mean, a different type of country, real rocky, not a lot of vegetation. You got cactus and then just travel. I mean, any kind of hunt where you're traveling, you're seeing a new environment, you're in a new area, and you're really, I like learning. Like I'm exploring and hunting a new species in a new area. I think for me, that was probably like the most exciting. And then, I don't know. I mean, you look at harvest photos that people take, at these big, huge ass Barbary sheep, and they're just cool. Yeah. You killed a couple.
I killed one. So my dad, back when I played football, before I completely gave that shit up for hunting, we had to manipulate the hunts we did around football season. Obviously, football doesn't fall into the greatest of dates. So we went Barbary hunting when I was a sophomore in high school. And yeah, my dad and I both shot one and it was awesome. It was I can't believe I haven't done it again since, but yeah, I really want to. Really want to. They're awesome animals. The shaps, the mohawks on it, they're badass animals.
Yeah. You know, everybody
And
told
just
me,
like total spot and stock. Like you want to talk about
Yeah.
true spot and stock? Holy shit.
yeah,
It doesn't get any better than
and
that.
glass your eyes out.
Oh, man.
I mean, I love that type of hunt anyway. Cover country, sit down, get comfortable behind a tripod, and just glass till your eyes bleed.
Yep.
And man, those animals are so much harder to pick out than I ever would have thought. I mean,
They're a weird color for like what the country is out here.
They blend in. I mean, they're
Yeah.
pretty much the same color as all the rocks, you know, and the vegetation breaks them up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you're like when you're hunting mule deer, especially late season, you get into like October, November, all those bucks have turned, you know, gray, dark gray, but they have that distinguishing feature that either, you know, white face
Yes.
or
White butt.
that white butt that just sticks out. Barbary sheep don't really have that.
No.
I mean, they're pretty much the same color as everything around them. So yeah, glassing was challenging.
So it could be one of those animals in a way where like you're kind of refining your glassing techniques. You're learning to pay more attention to the smaller details, like really look hard instead of just like, oh, yeah, I'm looking for a white patch or I'm looking for, you know, this big school bus of an elk, you know, the shape of it. Like
Yep.
you're able to hone in things and maybe it just makes you a better glasser after you do
Bless
something
you,
like
Cody.
that.
Yeah. The other cool thing about it was just so game rich. Like
Yeah.
I'm seeing
That's always
you know,
fun.
30 to I don't know, 40 a day or something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, a slow
always
day I
fun.
might have saw like 5 or 6, but like you're always seeing sheep, you know, and it's just like that next one could be the
Yeah, it keeps
one.
it fun.
It, yeah.
So it was like really engaging in that regard. You know, the weather was rough. I had super windy days for 3 days straight. I mean, it was like 40, 50 mile an hour winds. I had some snow. I don't think that's that uncommon, especially late season down there. I think
No.
it's pretty windy. You know, I was all the way in Texas and then north into New Mexico. So I was a long damn ways from home, but
Is that country you can like backpack or are you mainly like spike camping with the truck and then driving around and doing some long hikes coming back or what's the...
I think you could, I mean, you could backpack. There's some big, deep canyons and stuff that you could work in. I don't think you're ever going to be more than, you know, a few miles from a road.
Yeah. And then probably water's pretty hard to find too. I mean,
And water, yeah. Yeah. I would say take all the water you can find. I don't know that they're that dependent on water. It doesn't seem it anyway. I think there's some guzzlers and stuff and they probably hit it, you know, periodically, but I don't think you could plan on hunting water as a strategy.
Yeah.
I heard rumor of a guy that shot a big ram on the archery hunt off of a water source, but I think he'd set it for like 11 days. And I think that's the only
I mean, to
sheep
hunt
that came
sheep
in.
on water like that, it sounds like a grind to me.
Yeah.
Sheep don't rely on water quite like
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, but they're cool, man. I mean, like when I drive from Cedar City to Vegas, I drive through the gorge and all that country, and I like look out across the landscape, and I'm like, man, there could be Barbary. We could have Barbary here, but
Let's transplant them.
yeah, that's the problem is
no
you
more
get-
bucket biology in the West.
Yeah.
Let's stop that.
You've got that conflict potentially between Barbary sheep and they might carry disease and domestic, and then you've
Yeah.
got native bighorn. And I don't know that that's a good thing. But
No, let's be clear. I am all for the native
Yeah.
bighorn. That was not a full.
I'm-
let's transplant
I
them.
knew where you're going. I knew
No,
where you're
that was
going.
not a
I don't
full
know,
thing.
man. I'm torn because they're hardy species and they seem to do really well, with
Yeah.
domestics. There's not that many people that get to hunt desert bighorns. There's a shit ton of people that get to hunt Barbary. That's all I'm saying.
That's what, yeah. And that honestly, that is, I can't believe I haven't done it. Like listening to you talk right now, I'm actually pretty mad at myself that I haven't done it again. Because I mean, my dad and I, that was one of the most fun hunts we had ever been on, right? Like we found a band of rams. He killed the lead. Of course, my dad shot first. I wasn't, he hadn't handed over the reins to me yet.
Yeah.
And the second, band of rams, they all stood around when the lead ram dropped. And then we kind of got to like sneak in, get a closer shot for me. And it was awesome, man. It
Yeah.
was like a total sheep hunt. It was awesome.
And that's the thing I'm most excited about doing one is the nasty country, the gnarliness.
We gotta do it.
Hey,
We should do this.
you could die going across this cliff or going up this cliff to try to recover
Yeah.
something. I'm into that. Sign me
You
up.
are into that.
I'll be there
a
tomorrow.
lot more than I am. We should.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to. We need to start talking about how we're going to chase this. Do
In
a
that,
film
in,
on it
in
or
that
something.
regard, it'd be right up your alley. I mean, there's some really gnarly country. I came back, I think within a day when I came back, I talked to you and I said,
Yeah, I remember that.
this is a hunt for Brady.
Yeah.
Brady would just
mountain
absolutely,
athlete.
He would dig this. Like this would be right up his alley. Lots of real rough, rocky terrain, tons of glassing. I think you'd really like it.
So my big question then, would you sacrifice some other hunt you got going on maybe to be like, make this part of your schedule more? To like do a Barbary more often?
Where I'm at, and I've had this conversation 2-3 times the last, I don't know, since hunting season ended this year. Yeah, like my late season mule deer hunting has gotten so, I mean this respectfully, obviously, but like what it was 5, 8 years ago. It's just, it's not the same, you know, and, you know, I haven't switched my mentality going into it. Maybe I should, I don't know what it is, but I'm kind of burnt out on this late season mule deer hunting. And yeah, I would definitely replace something like this in those late seasons.
Why do you think that is? Like, what is it about that late? Is it like you've hit satiation, like you're over it, or a little bit over it, or is it that the quality and the opportunity isn't as good as what it was 8 years ago?
So the first
Heated
being
topics. I love this.
Yeah, the first being 70% of it, the second part of that being 30% of it, which, like, yes, I am over it. And I am, you know, like you were talking about the adventure of it, learning new country, new animals, all that stuff. That's what I love more than anything. That's why I like hunting new places. That's why I like applying in all these different states, going, trying to figure it out. You start eScout and you start doing this. It's all new, right? It's like keeps your interest going. And mule deer is my favorite species. So that's always, you know, why I'm willing and wanting to, you know, spend the time and do the same stuff over and over and over again. It's because I love big mule deer. But the big mule deer aren't the same as they have been. I mean, it's been droughted out incredibly horrible. I mean, when you look back, and this year is seemingly very different. But I'm still like, I'm pretty burnt out on it, honestly. Yeah. And my expectations of, just being honest, my expectations of size have not changed, but obviously the quality of animals has over the last 5 years specifically. And just kind of over it. I want to do something new.
Can I lead you a certain direction here? I want to hear your opinion on something.
Yeah.
Our late season dates in Colorado, how, you know, they're pushing back everything. Now third season's almost week before Thanksgiving. Fourth season's pretty much in Thanksgiving.
Yep.
A lot of that, you know, to me, when I'm looking at it, seems to benefit some elk hunters because a lot of people, you know, complain that the elk aren't pushing down anymore. They can't find the elk up in the mountains, so they're not pushing those season dates back. So at the same time doing that, they're not separating out the mule deer season. So now the mule deer season are going more into the rut. So now we're starting to just absolutely, potentially, you know, in certain years, could nuke mule deer population, especially older, mature deer, getting a little dumber, getting more in the rut, which I have a very strong opinion about. You know,
and
mule deer in the rut.
And they have the tag quotas at the same time.
The tag quotas, so we're not like quite managing mule deer specifically because we're managing for the animal that brings in all the cash, which is an elk.
Yeah, I'm entirely on the same page as you. Like I've hunted Colorado, late season Colorado for the last, 12 years in a row, literally 12. I think this is my 12th year, if I'm doing the math right, and 11th year. And yeah, I've seen it happen.
I know you've seen it. That's why I wanted to ask you.
I've seen it happen. And when they pushed everything back and they upped the tag quotas at the same time, there's no doubt, like, you know, all the data you want to look at and pull, harvest success hasn't gone up, this, that, whatever. I'm just telling you anecdotally, and visually being out there every single year, it is different. It took a massive hit. They did get nuked. There's no question about it. And it was all for elk. It was all for the elk. And didn't Colorado even say that?
No, they don't directly say it.
It depends. I mean, this is one of those things. But I mean, the justification for upping the tag quotas was to essentially reduce the number of older age class bucks in a population to eliminate the encroachment of
don't say the C word.
Okay.
CWD.
Yeah, of chronic wasting disease.
Yeah.
So it's more prevalent in older age class bucks. You know, they're carriers, you know, passing it on as well. So that was the justification that Parks and Wildlife used.
Well, it's like that last podcast with Dax, though. Like, we don't want all of our deer to get CWD, so let's shoot all of our deer.
Shoot over deer.
Like, the outcome is just as bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was the justification that they used. So I don't know. Is it elk? Is it CWD? I don't know.
I don't know. When Dax said that, though, it like resonated with me, right? We don't want all of our deer to get CWD, so let's kill all of our deer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same. Isn't that the same thing? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hard one to me. Like, you're just kind of loving your animals to death by like doing certain things that's just going to knock them back again when you don't let, you know, CWD's been around forever. Like,
it's a tough one, man. It really is. And look, I am extremely biased. I know myself, I'm extremely biased to mule deer. But I mean, I can't help but think, you know, they took it in the shorts because of the elk.
Well, it also goes back to the, you know, part of that conversation we had with Dax is, you know, so much of hunting, tag allocation, a lot of that is just social quote unquote science, social science, what the public wants. There's probably a lot of people sitting out there that love increased tag quotas and the chance to shoot a 2-point. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Good on you.
I agree. And there's a lot of good that comes from that too. It's not all bad, right?
Yeah, not all bad. I'm just
Two
saying,
things can be true at once.
Yeah, for a guy that's hunted his whole life like you've killed some giant deer. You know, you want the opportunity to potentially chase a giant deer each year in Colorado. It's, not the same for you.
It's not the same.
And the whole 2-point thing, Mike.
Yeah, we can get into a whole conversation. I support hunting as a whole, whatever hunting that is for anybody. I don't give a shit what kind of hunting it is. If you're buying hunting licenses and applying and supporting and talking about it, putting it in a good light, I don't give a shit what kind of hunting you do, private, public, doesn't matter. I'm all for it. All for it. Just want you to have a good time and want you to keep doing it. Now, again, in the quantum world we live in, two things can be true at once, right? So like, I agree, they should be able to do that. However,
100% they should be able to.
However, there should also be the other side of it at the same time, which is, management of quality, not just quantity.
Yeah, because everyone hunts for different reasons, which they always will be able to, and
everyone
they always
can find.
can.
And if there was those,
Yeah, but doing it multiple times, like, okay, you're your first time hunter, I won't go for it. Yes, get that experience. Everyone needs experience. Like you're talking about the podcast, just kill. The best way to get better at killing bigger animals is to kill.
Just kill. It's the only way to get good at it.
So like you have to, you're definitely progression going up, but like, continually to do it over time, or continually to hunt these things in the rut, and then maybe you've traveled all the way out there and you're not willing to eat a tag, and you're gonna shoot some, which is definitely your right again to do it.
Yeah. It gets interesting.
It's a slippery slope.
It gets interesting quick. It really does. I mean, it's a very complex conversation, and everybody, we talked about this on one of the other podcasts. Selfishly, I want every tag. Don't want anybody to have one. And, the biggest, best animals on the planet. But that's just not the reality of what's going to happen. And there's somebody on the other side of the table that says, I just want to go hunting with my family every single year. This is my family thing. We just want to go shoot a meat buck, whatever it is. And they have just as much right as I do. Right? Talking about it. But it would be nice to see both of those things happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's an impossible thing or what it is, but like, it'd be nice if both those could happen at the same time.
Since we're talking about Colorado, we kind of moved over to Colorado deer specifically.
April 4th
coming up. Their draw.
Is your deadline.
Yep.
For all species.
For all species.
And if you want to get a point, that's also the time to get a point as well.
Yeah, that's it. There's no point only purchase time frame in the summer like there are in some other states. Yeah. But what's your take, Brady? You've killed some big bucks in Colorado. You love Colorado.
Love Colorado.
You love hunting mule deer. Like what's your vibe with Colorado and mule deer? How are you feeling about it?
I go back and forth. Again, like we just talked about, the season day things are kind of really concerning to me. Honestly, they are. It's something that kind of, if I want to get deep and passionate about it, it's very concerning. Like if we have years, we have the perfect conditions, which you never know when that's going to happen. Sometimes these late season hunts have been pretty hot and dry. But if we have the perfect conditions with these late season hunts, we have the potential to really nuke wildlife.
Just did this last year. This last year's conditions as far as second, third, fourth season goes, I don't know if it gets any better. Yep. That was pretty incredible this year.
Because for instance, right now, I got the dates pulled up because the regs came out. Second rifle dates, October 28th to November 5th. Mm-hmm. You guys remember when second rifle used to be a lot earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Third rifle, November 11th to the 17th. Mm-hmm. Fourth rifle, November 22nd to the 26th.
Yeah.
There's some...
with increased tag quotas.
And increased tag quotas at the same time. But the nice thing is about Colorado, though, there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
There's a ton of options, and I keep hearing a lot that, the whole resident, non-resident thing again, that residents can't get the tags they want to get. Well, it's like I'm a poster child for it. I go to Colorado every single year.
Yeah.
I don't chase points. I find hunts that get overlooked. I go there. Yeah, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough for sure.
For sure.
Because they're easy to draw for a reason, like everyone will say. But I can go to Colorado, have a dang good time, get away from people, and still find some deer. And I'll still say that you could basically close your eyes, throw pins on a map, and there could be a big giant deer that you never know in the state of Colorado. But with all this other stuff that's going on, CWD, whacking out some bigger age class deer, shooting more deer with more tags, these late season dates. Yeah. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to be what it used to be back in the heydays. And I'm talking about even recent heydays. Like there was recently, 5 years ago, it was really good in Colorado. Now it seems to be like turning down a little bit because
it's definitely
everything that's
turning
going
down.
on.
What I see happening with those increased tag quotas and those that late in the year is like, those big old, gnarly smart bucks, like they do what they do and they've kind of figured it out. What I've anecdotally here, I'm what the fuck do I know? I'm just kind of not a biologist, but I'm just speaking. That's swear jar. Sorry. It's gonna get, we're gonna get into some passionate talk today. I like those really well put together genetic bucks are, first, second year of rut haven't really figured anything out. Those are the ones that are just getting waxed. Yeah. So then you kind of fast forward through the years a little bit, and that age class isn't getting to 6, 7, 8 years old. That's what I've anecdotally noticed. Is a nice solid buck, 4-point, maybe an inline, an extra, whatever it is, at 3, 4 years old, just getting whacked.
And the thing I've noticed a lot too, and like you even glass private land, you're hunting those public private little areas, and you're like, I'm just gonna glass them on private, see what's on there. You're not seeing the deer you used to see on private land during prime time. I'm not talking about glassing it during the middle of the day when it's stupid hot. Yeah, there might not be deer out there. Big bucks are smart. They're not going to go to the open even during the rut. But you're not seeing the numbers.
No, my go-to strategy, we talked about this back in November. My go-to strategy is a couple days before the hunt opens for scouting. First day, I'm glassing private. I want to see what age classes are rutting, what kind of bucks have showed up. Is it that ultra mature? Are they pushing does around yet? What's going on? It kind of gives you the rut cycle, insight into the rut cycle more than anything is just watching private land for that first morning, first afternoon. And you don't see the deer you used to at all. So
based on your observation, kind of the things I'm hearing you saying, does that change your application strategy for Colorado? Are you still going to Colorado every single year? Or are you at a point where you're like, you know what, I probably would give up a hunt in Colorado every few years to potentially go hunt someplace else or some other species?
I love when trail drops the heat. So no, I am still going to look at Colorado as a state that I just
for late season specific
that I want to hunt every single year.
Why?
I just love the style, love the country, love the people there, love everything about it, love the deer, like the way the deer
late
react.
Season winter grind too.
I do enjoy that part of it. And I think, like I said, I do, I hunt those easy to draw units. I'm not going to deny it. I love the grind of going in there, trying to find a big deer, trying to do something. Yeah, if I had 4 points, it'd open up a lot of doors from really cool units that have potential for bigger deer. But I love just knowing I can go in there, hunt deer, find quality deer, and do that every single year. That's pretty cool.
Is your stoke level less?
It's a little bit less. I will say it's a little bit less.
A little bit or a lot?
A little bit.
Not enough to affect your application.
Not enough to affect it. No, I mean, I'm still gonna try to get a tag in Colorado as best I can. That's what's great about Colorado. I got the secondary draw. I have that whole leftover list program. Like there is ways to get a tag in Colorado. I don't just have to hey, I got 0 to 3 points. I got to apply for these. Like if I don't get a tag, there's other ways I can get a tag in Colorado.
Yeah, that is what's nice about Colorado.
And even though people hate on it, you can also pick up a landowner tag in Colorado. There's ways to get a tag and then have just a fun hunt. And I look back at the history of Colorado. I don't know where you could pinpoint where mule deer originated, but my gosh, it's got to be Colorado. You look at that place, the mule deer are meant to freaking live there. They're meant to thrive there.
I think came from the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, you just look at that place, it's no matter where you go.
Yeah.
You can find deer in the state of Colorado, which I think's very cool. And it's non-residents, you can pick up tags. If you want to go muzzleloader, opens the big door. If you want to go archery, you can. Yeah, I'm more switched over now to rifle, but there's options for you. Second rifle, third rifle.
My application changed. I'm only going early season high country.
Yeah, see,
might as well. I haven't had good late season hunts in Colorado. Yeah. They just haven't been. They haven't been. In my opinion, I look at them, I get excited for them every single year. I've gone out and I've hunted them. I just haven't seen and had the type of experience I ultimately hoped I would have. And I'm kind of looking at something else. I mean, I'll apply, and I may look at it if there's an opening in my schedule that time of year where I could potentially squeeze in a hunt, especially for my kids. I think it's great for your kids if you got kids that can go hunting. But I don't know. It's kind of changed. Yeah. It kind of changed a little bit for me.
I entirely agree. I'm in the same boat. You've been hunting, so I've been hunting with my wife and kid too. So I've been doing like the ultra general, been chasing, good hunts for myself and friends and buddies who have a bunch of points chasing a good tag. Like the last 5 years specifically, I've been hunting both like the ultra general, just easy tags, and the high end, whether it be, bunch of points myself, friends, whatever it is. And yeah, I've slowly seen those late hunts degrade to a point where it's just like not what I'm expecting. I'm not, right? I've said it a bunch of times before. Success is loving it enough to want to do it again. And those hunts just haven't been that successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my mentality is completely switched on Colorado, and I'm high country archery from here on out, I think.
Let me go back, Brady. So you had a deer tag this year in Colorado.
Yeah.
Tough hunt.
Oh, it was a grinder.
A grinder, right?
Like that's the point where you're like questioning yourself, like, kind of, what are you doing? What are you doing out here? Like, it's a week away from, you're burning vacation time, not seeing the quality deer anymore that you want, and just not seeing the bucks you should be seeing.
Yep.
In all honesty, and you had a good storm on top of it. Like, it was good weather.
The year prior to that, you went and you had a pretty decent hunt.
Pretty decent hunt,
You hunted with Scott, right?
Yep, hunted with Scott.
You killed a 170-ish buck, maybe?
Yep.
Was that the type of hunt that you like? Are you happy with that hunt? Like when you came home from that hunt, were you satisfied with that experience to the point where you would go, you would go back? I'm trying to gauge. I'm pushing you a little bit. I'm trying to gauge at what point you decide
it's not worth it.
I got to do something. I got to do something else. I either got to look at like an early season muzzleloader hunt,
or get to that 4-point level,
or I got to get to that 4-point level to draw a unit for the type of buck that you're potentially looking for.
Yep. So it's tough. I love hunting. I love chasing mule deer every year, but hunts like that, like killing a 170-inch deer, for a lot of people, it's going to be great. But it's like, I do want something bigger still. And I did not see anything bigger on that hunt with Scott, and I killed the biggest deer I saw the whole week. And I know that area has some bigger deer. That there wasn't a lot of snow that year, which hurt for sure. I was hunting different style. We were, running around on side-by-sides and parking and going on some big walks and glassing. If I did it again, would I do that same technique? Maybe not. If I hunt that unit again, because I burned some points for that one, I might, get a little deeper in there, because people hate me for it, but I want to go higher. I want to see what's up there. See who on that thick crap.
Brady's going high.
And dig a buck out. I want to dig him out of that country that no one knows about. That buck just lives there. He has his 1 or 3 does that he likes to hang out with, and that's it. But I didn't see the quality.
Yeah.
So it hurt, And then going in this year, again, did another second season hunt, and it was horrible.
Yep.
So that right there does make me concerned about what do I do this year, because I had such a horrible experience last year. Now I'm trying to figure out, like I said, do I wait for some of these secondary draws? Do I wait till somebody's turn back tags and try to get a better tag in my strategy? But again, though, I look at this as if I was going to do this hunt or a hunt in another state during the same time frame, I'm not going to point states again. I'm just going to keep it with Colorado. But like, this Colorado hunt is going to be better than some of these other states. Has the potential for the bigger deer than going on, that the family hunt I take in Montana every year. I'll say Montana.
Yeah.
Like, the Colorado is definitely going to have the potential for some bigger deer.
For sure.
Sure, someone's going to say there's a lot of giant deer in Montana. I get that. I know. I've seen giant deer on private land. I know some of the big mountains have some big deer. But on average, we're talking about straight average.
Yeah, straight
numbers,
averages for sure.
And
Colorado.
you can't just say, Boone and Crockett numbers or whatever, because they're giant deer when they get to Boone and Crockett size glass. But like, Colorado has that potential to kick out something. And I want that.
For sure.
In the back of my mind, I want knowing that every day I could finally find that deer. But they're becoming less and less.
Yeah. So this goes back to the quintessential debate when it comes to Colorado and mule deer specifically, when they decided to up the number of permits and go to the system that they've gone to. You've got those late season dates. You got the higher number of permits. The quintessential debate in Colorado, are those bigger bucks actually there and you're not finding them? Or are we at a point where there just aren't those big bucks?
I think we're getting to the point where there just aren't those big bucks.
That's what I think.
We honestly are.
Yeah.
My best friend on planet Earth is a outfitter in Colorado. Lives there year round. Goes and hunts cats on the winter ranges. He's there all the time. He says he doesn't see the deer that he used to in the bottoms during the wintertime, where they're out chasing cats or out doing whatever they're doing. He's a farmer rancher as well. They don't see the deer that they used to. So I think it's to that point.
I should say that this is relative also because, I mean, I think if you live in these units, you live close to them, you've got day in and day out in the summer to scout and spend all your time. You've got the full hunt off, and maybe you've got 5 or 6 days even prior to your hunt, and you could just be in any unit grinding out looking for a big buck. I think there's some big bucks in Colorado,
Of
right?
course.
Yeah.
There are, but for the guy like myself, so I'm not running out there. I'm not scouting for, a hunt that I drew with 1 point. I'm just going to show up maybe a day before. I'm going to set up camp. I may do some backpack. I'm going to hunt. For that type of guy, I think there are definitely less big bucks on landscape available.
Even for example, last year, like sitting there glassing some of the terrain I was glassing, it almost, it's surprising. Maybe it's like too picture perfect, but like there is, like I'm the only person out here. I know because it was snow. I could see tracks. No one else was going out there and glassing it. And then waking up in the morning, super excited, and you look out and you see 3 does and a fork and horn. And that fork and horn is dogging those does.
Yeah,
like where is his older uncle that's somewhere else?
Yeah.
And you think like, okay, it's gonna take some time. I'm gonna check these does later in the hunt, maybe move around a little bit. You check those does later. Oh, now it's a 3 point that is 6 inches bigger than that 2 point.
Yeah.
Just looking at them. And it's like, you're not seeing them anymore. You're just not. And try to get away from people. You try to hunt closer to roads. Like, I'm not going to throw all my eggs in one basket and just go stupid deep. I will check out other places too, but you're not seeing them. You're just not. And then you talk to locals. Like I talked to a local last year. They hadn't seen a deer over, 160. I saw a giant 3-point last year. He was cool. People said he should have shot him, but it's like, it's just a 3-point. It's just a 150-inch 3-point. Yeah, he's
I
mass,
like big
but
threes.
Yeah.
Big threes are cool.
Depends on the back. Was he back fork 3 or front fork 3?
Oh, that's a good point.
no, he was the front fork 3, so he's on a reverse.
Yeah. Well,
So no
The reverse 3 points
no
I love.
G3s.
We have muley forks, and then he's got just a beam.
wait, what 3-point do you like?
I like the whitetail 3 points.
I
I like the
like
G2,
them. I like
no
the muley
G3,
3-point.
G4.
I like a front fork 3.
Yeah.
I know.
Big old.
You like the white? You like the
towering
white?
G2s.
You like the whitetail 3-point?
Yeah, I like the
I do.
whitetail
I don't.
3
The
points.
opposite, I think, is one of the most unattractive mule deer on the planet.
I agree.
Just straight
Totally
main
agree.
beams and
Yeah.
back forks.
With the big old back fork and straight main beams.
Oh, that's a hard pass.
In my mind, I don't like that I'm shooting something that's like maybe a hybrid or something just genetically
He's
inferior.
a purist.
He'd have to be tremendously large for me to shoot a,
I
a
love
back fork
the
3.
white point 3, the whitetail 3.
Yeah, I don't like those.
Hey Brady, this will blow your mind right here.
I
Cody
saw
pulled
that,
it up.
but that's just like
Some guy, I can't pronounce his name, spotted the first first deer with black tails.
Drew Lillard? Is that the last?
5th of September,
Lillard.
1804, in the cliffs
1804.
upstream from the mouth of the Niobrara River in northeast Nebraska. Sorry if I murdered that.
You got to hunt mule deer in Nebraska. That's where they were discovered.
It
Doesn't mean they originated.
That doesn't
from
mean
there.
they
That's
originated.
where they were discovered.
Were first
and then
seen.
Lewis I would imagine that's from Lewis and Clark, huh?
Yep.
By May 10th, 1805, had seen enough of the specimens to write an 800-word description.
down. Can you click down below where it says where did mule deer evolve? Okay, North America. That's
That's not narrowing it down.
come
right
on,
there.
Google.
You got to go to
Wah,
Nebraska.
wah.
That's your next spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, Colorado's
Yeah.
done enough to switch my mentality.
But where else would you do? Besides for
Whitetail,
just
honestly, like I'm just being honest. I'm into, like we're talking about with Odd Dad, I'm into new species. I'm into new shit. I am not a whitetail hunter. I've watched quite a bit of whitetail. I like this spot and stock kind of. I don't know. There's some guys out there doing some pretty badass spot and stock style whitetail bow hunting, and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to get into. Like, it's really piqued my interest. Kind of spot and stock tree saddle setup or spot and stock on a decoy. Get in close, set up a decoy, start grunting, rattling, get them to come into the decoy. I've seen some videos out there floating on YouTube. I am like, it's got my interest for sure.
Yeah, maybe this will put it into perspective on where I'm at. I would rather go to like Kansas or someplace like that and shoot 130-inch whitetail than I would 160, 170-inch mule deer in Colorado on a second or third season hunt.
I could see some of that.
That's where I'm
I'm
at.
in the same boat as Trail. And just the style. Have you seen this stuff that I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's
tree saddle,
badass.
move,
Crawling
spot
in,
and stock,
crawling in, getting in close,
decoy,
setting up decoy. God, it looks awesome.
So it's going to make you guys excited about this because I'm a big elk guy. I
You're-
say that with the biggest sarcasm.
You're
on my face
the
I
elk
can.
guy.
You're,
But keep
you're
going.
the elk guy.
So I was talking to Ryan Lampers yesterday, And him and I were just having a random conversation, talking about just BSing, catching up. Got to talking about deer, got to talking about elk. And he knows I have a metric shit ton of elk points.
He wants it on your elk points.
No, he did. I didn't want to poach any elk points, but it's like, this is why kind of my strategy up until this point is kind of starting to pay off, because I don't care about elk at all. You guys say I haven't been
until this year.
I don't care. But since I have so many points, so I have the ability right now to draw some bomber tags.
Yeah, for sure.
And eventually we'll draw some bomber tags because I haven't cared about elk enough to actually ever burn them. So I have, creeping on mid-teens points for every single Western state. So because of this, like we're talking about now, deer numbers aren't where I want it to be. I want to chase the biggest, oldest deer in some of these states. So it might be time, not saying I will yet, I still have a lot of time left in this app season, to maybe start knocking off one elk hunt a year in some of these big
guy
trophy
turned
areas.
into an elk guy real quick.
Just because
went on
because
one mule deer sabbatical that turned into an elk hunt, and now he's the elk Jesus.
And because it's just like, maybe I just let him rest for a while. But it's like, what is me just letting him rest compared to when everyone else is still hunting him? So it's not going to just change it. But I might have a better, more quality hunt in a sense. Like I said, the Colorado thing. So maybe I don't do a Colorado hunt. Maybe I try to burn one of these late rifle hunts. 'Cause I'm only going to look at the late rifle. I'm not going to be the guy burning archery points. I could draw some archery tags right now in the bomb units in a lot of states. But I'm just going to go late rifle. And then that would then, creep on those mule deer dates. So I could, if I draw one of these, I'm not going to be able to go on the mule deer hunt I want to do. So it's like a thought I have to start doing, because I also want to reset those points too. I have so many elk points. It'd be nice to reset those, go back down, so I'm not caught in the position my dad is, where he's not going to catch anything.
He's got so many points. He can draw anything on the planet and waste a bunch, but he'll never catch the top.
But I want to be able to reset that, start over, or reset that in state like Nevada, and then wait my my wait period, and then get back in the game.
I'm
again.
still in my wait period in Nevada. It's so frustrating.
Late season elk, you can hunt it just like mule deer.
I
mean, it's the same damn country.
Yeah.
Not exactly the same. It might even be worse. It might be rougher.
And again,
that's true.
I mean, it might be rougher.
And they're not noisy frat boys that time of year, just bugling their brains out.
Yeah, that's right.
The mountains are peaceful again.
To find an older age class.
You're the only guy that doesn't like the elk bugle, by the way.
Yeah.
I love the elk bugle. I mean, I'm not an elk
pure
guy,
sound
but it's awesome. It's as good as it gets.
Because you need that to be able to kill them.
I mean, it's handy, but it's just nice. Yeah, sends chills up your spine.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it.
Especially when they're in tight like that. But what I'm saying is, you get November rifle elk.
Yeah.
It's the same challenge. I mean, it might even be more challenging.
And again,
rougher country.
Anecdotally coming from me, what I've seen on Colorado elk while I'm out there chasing mule deer, they seem to be pretty damn good. Like real good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I don't know your take, Trail, but it's been impressive. I haven't had a tag because I've always been so focused on mule deer, and I don't like anything kind of, throwing us off of the main goal at hand. But just seeing what I'm seeing while we're out there chasing deer, I am pretty impressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think your chances of shooting a 310 inch bull are better than your chances of shooting a 180 inch buck.
I would agree.
100, probably even 170 inch buck, to be honest.
I agree. Totally agree.
And if you listen to, we had Derek Wolf on, it's way more cool to shoot an elk than it's to sack Tom Brady. So way more bigger adrenaline rush.
It's so nice to be validated from a guy with that level of experience in his life.
So I think that's what you should look at.
I know
I think we just switched your mind right here.
This is a lot of stuff that keeps me. This is a lot of stuff that keeps me up at night, and I just don't know what to do. And it's like,
well, you're a loyal guy too, and I see you not wanting to break the loyalty that you have to mule deer. You might have to.
Like I said, I got a track record now killing bulls.
They're
not big bulls by any means.
Hey.
I'm not the guy going out there killing anything big, but I'm killing bulls.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just think at night all the time, like what to do. And then I look back at all the stuff, like when I talk about that snowpack articles, looking at it, like looking at what the potential for winter kill, and even though looking at snow water equivalent maps isn't a end all be all situation when it comes to winter kill. When I start comparing the winter we're having right now in some of these places, like you look at northern Utah, compare it 2023 compared to 2017.
Yeah.
We're creeping on those same years where people are like, it's doom and gloom. These things are dying. And I look at, parts of Wyoming. We're not at that same point of 2017 yet, but we're dang close to getting there. We're just looking at snow water equivalent maps. And again, that's not a set in stone. We get to a certain point of these big percentages that things are going to die. But it's also like, what do I do? And if I don't burn them this year, all those other deer are going to be dead as well. Like, mature deer might make it, but those fawns, those younger age class animals are not going to make it through some of these hard winters. And then we're going to go back in the cycle where it's going to be another, 3-4 years for the deer number
Trail,
to rebound again.
are you hearing anything on winter kill?
Yeah.
In your network? What are you hearing?
Yep. So, I mean, this is some of it's just anecdotal because I don't have hard and fast facts and figures. I heard rumor. I talked to a guy yesterday that said potentially, like even like Southwest Wyoming, like Region K, potential for like 40-50% fawn loss.
Ooh.
And that's in K, which typically has got a lot more sagebrush, low, winter range. I would think Region G and H, you'll probably see that much or more potentially. I was in Logan, which is northern Utah. I drove the length of the state over the weekend. And I mean, northern Utah, Cache Valley, there's hardly any vegetation. There's almost no, browse, if you will, like sage, anything like that that's above snow line. So a lot of those deer are just primarily hitting browse. I mean, they're eating willows, trees, birch, those kind of things. And I took a drive up Blacksmith Fork Canyon, which you got Hardware Ranch, which is kind of the division's ranch where they feed some elk. They do, wagon rides and whatnot. And they feed elk typically there and also along that Millville face, like adjacent to Blacksmith Fork Canyon. And a lot of the elk right down to the high fence. I mean, you could see them from the highway. There are people driving up and down the highway looking at elk. Deer, same thing, down low. I would suspect, based on what snow conditions look like from probably middle of the state, Utah, all the way to northern Utah, and then, like I said, into Wyoming, I think you're going to see loss. And like I said, primarily it's going to be in your fawn and, your older age class does and maybe some of your, older bucks that just body condition isn't quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you're saying, I mean, the hard part about winter kill with deer is that when you lose that fawn crop, which is, susceptible to winter kill. They're just not as big and strong. They can't dig down as deep to get to that vegetation. They're using more energy. You've got like maybe a 4-year gap post winter kill when that fawn that should have made it through didn't and won't make 4 years old. So for those regions like G, H, K, you're going to have a missing age class there for a few years. So it's tough.
And it hurts me too. Like, so they have the hard winter to go through. Yeah, maybe they'll survive. But like now we have, migration corridors being impacted by human encroachment all the time, highways, roads, all that stuff. So yeah, the fawn might make it. Now that little fawn has to travel to a summer range to try to survive. Yeah. And like, are they going to get nuked there? Like, there's so many factors right now that are impacting mule deer, especially some of these mule deer that do these long migrations. Like, I check out migration things all the time, reading biology reports and reading books about this, and it's like you can't put your finger on exactly how it's going to turn out because you hope it turns out for the better. But just looking at what we're at right now compared to some of these other winter kill years, and that's why looking at some of these USDA websites where I can take this time period in February 2023 compared to 2017 compared to some of those previous years, like you can start comparing and seeing how those reacted, and then even start looking at what does post-harvest success look like after your winter kill. Like, you can start to get a lot of trends.
What are you finding? What are you seeing?
Sometimes harvest success after it is still okay, but it's like you never know what age class those animals are harvesting. So that's what's hard. You don't know if they're shooting the 4-point or better, or if they're shooting anything. But there is some places, Idaho and Wyoming, where you do see a little bit of decrease, but I don't know if you can put an exact number on it because I don't think this is exactly. I don't want to say science, but like it's hard to know what people are harvesting unless you could get a bigger picture of.
Yeah. Are you a science denier?
No, I'm just saying like in this case, it's like because you don't know when the harvest success could be great, but I don't know if they're
flat earther science denier.
Yeah, I don't know if they're shooting fork and horns or if they're actually shooting these mature deer. And two, is the harvest success lower because these people aren't willing to shoot that lower age class deer, and they're looking for the giant because they might have burned 10 points on Region G in Wyoming.
That's
so
what
they're looking
my
for
gut says.
So it's like you don't know exactly what's going on, and that's why I think you have to take in so many different tools when you're looking at this. You can't just point it to snow water equivalent map or a snow depth map or a drought map and then harvest success. Like there's a lot of things you have to look at, and then you have to look at the migration corridors. You have to look at human encroachment. You have to look at all the people who are recreating on the landscape during the winter range. Because it ain't just the shed hunters out there, even though we all like to make fun of shed hunters sometimes. But like,
should we get into shed hunting?
Sometimes.
I'd love to get into that. But it's like there's so many factors. You got motorcyclists driving around. You got ATV riders who are doing that stuff, and it's like there's a lot of things that are impacting our mule deer herds.
Yeah, I mean that's what my gut tells me on a year like this, specifically really targeted at those areas. Talking Western Wyoming, Idaho, GH, kind of the historical big buck This is where you want to be, right? I would say this year, if you got the points to do it, it'd be a decent year. It'd be a good year to burn your points. Otherwise, you're probably going to be waiting. Personally, I would wait probably another 3 or 4 years potentially to want to draw that tag again because that's the time it's going to take. And then you got to hope that between now and then, if you don't burn your points, that you don't have another winter like this. You know?
Yeah.
So that's why I really like that article I just published, and people want to read it. It's like why drought/snowpack maps are important to hunters. The last big winter kill everyone talked about was 2017, the 2016, 2017 winter kill, and then now it's 2022/2023.
Yeah.
So there was that gap in there. There was enough of the gap, and if you look back again, it was like there's a bigger gap, but like the gap is a little tighter.
Yeah.
And so if your guy's going to wait that 4 years, is everyone else waiting too? Now you're going to have that point creep. Everyone's going to be burning it because they realize that, well, I can't go 2 years after a winter kill. I have to wait 4 years.
Yeah.
And then we're not even talking about predators yet too. Like you could throw predators on top, coyotes, mountain lions, all sorts of other stuff that's on top of all this during a heavy winter kill year.
Yeah.
Where are all those predators at? They're going to be down with those deer wintering.
Let me ask you guys an interesting question that I find interesting. At least it's a two-sided thing, right? Like we always talk about how the drought just ruins hunts and ruins animals and all this stuff, but then we turn around and talk about winter kill immediately after.
Yeah,
it's combo,
right? Like, I mean, if the world was perfect, you'd have a half inch of rain every single day for the entirety of summer. But you're right. It's like it's not the way things work. But if we've been in such a horrible drought where we're having to fly with helicopters, water into some of these drinkers and some of the more arid places and things like that, like. I mean, there's a give and take here. What's better or worse than the other?
Yeah, it's a combo, and I would say the last several years has been one of the worst, kind of the worst conditions all around for mule deer.
Yeah,
I mean it's tough. We had the Kings guys in here today, Kings Camo, and we were just talking to them. They live in northern Utah, and I was telling them, it'd be great if we could just get 3 or 4 winters when. Snowpack was 110% or 125% or 100% of annual right? And then we could get some spring rains, some summer monsoons.
The world is perfect, man.
And we could grow some deer. But what we've had is we've had hard winter, 16, 17. We've had significant years of heavy drought, which is hard on summer range. They're not putting on body fat to then survive winter.
Yeah.
And then we've come into this year where we've had another bad winter. So it's been, man, it's me in the streets for mule deer right now.
I agree.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard. But it's not all doom and gloom. I mean,
it's not all doom and gloom. Like, sometimes we paint a picture that it might be, but it's like there's still animals in the landscape.
No, I find a lot of positivity in a year like this. I mean,
the southern half of I live in Utah. Southern half of the state, mid to the southern half of the state, it's going to be a banner year.
Yep.
We needed that moisture. We still have a lot of
216%, 153%,
yeah,
196% on the east side of the state. Holy shit.
Yeah, look at the Pine Valley at 222%, which we still have a lot of winter range down there. We had probably an inch last night in Cedar. Night before last, most of it melted off. As I drove down I-15, there's still a lot of sagebrush and bitterbrush that's above snow line. So I think we're going to have a bang up year in southern Utah.
And you look at the Mormons in Nevada too, 334%.
Yeah, how great is this for Nevada?
Ooh. Yeah.
Phenomenal. especially there, right?
Arizona,
like
phenomenal.
Arizona.
New Mexico, phenomenal.
I was just javelina hunting in Arizona. I was blown away with the amount of water rolling down the mountain, as in streams and standing water. And then we got 2.5 inches of snow at my camp on, what was that, February 26th, 27th?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2.5 inches of snow.
Yep. When you look at right there by Flagstaff, just south of Flagstaff, Arizona, 353%. That's...
Yeah, look at Nevada there, 334%.
And the Mormons too. That's an area that really needed it. And then you look at central of the state, 215%.
So it's great now. Now we got the water. We're going to potentially have the habitat going into the summer. We're
it's not just water too; it's the snowpack water.
Yep.
Like this is snow settling, slow melting snow, which is as good as it gets for the desert.
Mm-hmm. So some of these desert units could be phenomenal.
So that's it. It's all relative, right?
It is.
You just got to change your perspective on where you're potentially looking at tags.
Exactly.
And
I find a lot of joy in finally getting some water.
Yeah. And it could be the other strategy too. Like some guys might be like, I am not going to burn my points because it potentially could be a winter kill.
Yeah.
Well, those guys that do burn their points,
yeah,
it might be a great opportunity to get out there, and some of these other guys who might just be getting after it aren't going to be out there in the field, and you could have maybe not less competition because those tags will always get sold. But you could have.
Wish my home state would give me a tag this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some points in Nevada I could burn.
It's only been 8 years since I've had a tag in my home state for deer.
Yeah.
Really wish I could get one this year.
Yeah. So this article that you've written, what more have you learned? Is there more in that you want to talk that we want to talk about and cover?
Oh, there's a ton in there. And I think the biggest thing is the combination of looking at both drought maps and snowpack/snow water equivalent maps at the same time. They go hand in hand together because you can't look at one without looking at the other, because some of these states are still going into, some drought. There still is drought in certain areas. But the biggest thing is too, looking at these maps during certain times of year as well, because, okay, yeah, we can look at summer. We're going to look at snowpack right now. What about looking at some snow water equivalent maps in the summer, because we want that feed to be really great? And or what all of a sudden a drought comes up in the summer, or we have that heavy snowpack and these deer can't get up to their summer range until a certain time of year. So it also could impact where the animals are going to be at during your hunting season.
For sure.
There's a lot of other considerations you have to throw in here besides for just, hey, deer are going to be dead, or antler growth might not be great because it could be a drought in some area.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of different considerations of how to look at this data.
I'm trying to remember when I hunted high country with Brandon. High country, when I had an elk tag, he had a deer tag. I'm trying to remember when that was, but they had a ton of late season snow and the snowpack stuck forever. And those deer, they just did not make it back up to the true high country bulls. And that was a first year I had hunted Colorado like that. Chasing deer. He had the deer tag, obviously, like I said, but I mean, that's the first time I had had that experience in Colorado. That was an interesting thing when that snowpack hung around and those deer just didn't quite make it all the way back up to the tops. I mean, they don't start till September, their archery seasons, right? And those deer had not made it to the tops.
Yep. And I look at it too, like, okay, we have some high amounts of snowpack in certain areas. Well, that's going to be great if you're a high country archery hunter and you're hunting some of these states that don't have a lot of water. What if there could be a little snowdrift that's still going to last up there on the north facing slope? Now it's going to open that door for you to get a bunch of water up there to stay up there and hunt those animals a lot easier.
Exploit an area that you may not have been able to.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different considerations, and that's why I didn't want to dive into exactly all my opinions on this article, because again, they're going to be opinions. But again, I just try to help people to want to think outside the box.
Yeah, look at it a different way.
Look at it a different way. Look at it between a Western look, analyze all that. And look at some of the other states like Montana, Oregon. Some of those states are just, they're average right now. They're not experiencing it. And so you might be like, why is everyone all talking about, Utah, the shed ban and all this stuff? We're like, my area is great.
Yeah.
Well, your area could be great. But again, you got to look at the big picture where other things are at. And that's why I could determine maybe it's time of year to burn your points in Oregon. Go hunt Oregon deer.
That's the beauty of the
Montana.
That's the beauty of the curse of hunting as a whole, is there is so many different ways to do it, and it's all personal, right? So everyone's opinion is super valid, right? One person doesn't, there's no chance one person knows the best way to do everything. It's all completely personal decision and personal choice. But like you said, these different conditions and different things that are happening from year to year, there's just different ways to look at it. Snowpack hanging around on a north side of a shale cliff, and actually you can backpack hunt it now. You can stay up there. You can get into those other bowls. You don't have to go down into the bottoms for water.
And going into the summer, we could have a lot of good vegetation growing out there. So those deer are going to ride the green wave, as they go up. And it's going to be could put on some giant racks of deer that do survive. It's going to be great for the does, great for the fawns. Everything's going to get good body fat percentage before they go into the fall.
But then the people that hate that are going to say the opposite, right?
Yeah.
You've mentioned a couple times shed ban, and it's not completely off topic because I think it yields itself to the conversation about winter kill and mortality and the reason Utah created a shed.
Oh gosh, did you guys read the UDWR Instagram comment thread?
Oh, it was my favorite. I laid there one night just reading comments.
Burned so many hours of my life.
Yeah.
I'm off social for a reason.
It was pretty good.
But the thing is, though,
good reading.
There's valid points everyone gives. All right,
for sure.
But the big thing to me is we just have to realize that you can't hunt dead deer.
Yeah.
So, for the betterment of wildlife, wouldn't it make sense if we, the problem that they come into all the time is they're only pinpointing shed hunters. They're not limiting mom and pa taking their 15 dogs out on a hike. Yeah. They're pushing deer around, the guys who are driving their dirt bikes and motorcycles or whatever it might be in the mountains. But the state can only control what they can only control. And that's, they control the wildlife. So they can put a shed ban in place. Yes, it's just alienating you shed hunters from doing this. But people don't realize the same thing happened in 2017. This is not a new thing. In 2017, they first did it for, I think it was 11 counties. And then they decided we should close the whole state down because people were just going to southern Utah then.
Yeah.
And it's like, can we all just give wildlife a little break? And I know you're biting at the bit to go out there. I get that. I get that maybe this is your funnest time of year. But can we just wait a little bit? And I know those other people are recreating on there, and I know that sucks. But maybe we can all get together at more education. Yes, it's going to take the state a lot more money, or maybe a lot more of these organizations.
Here's the problem with education, though. Here's the problem with education.
Well, they already have education. I mean, if you want to go shed hunting in Utah, you have to take a shed hunter's
but I'm not talking about educating the hunters. I'm talking about educating the non-hunting public at these trailheads. And that's where I think some of the stuff maybe needs to be focused on more. Maybe we get some more commercials out there. People don't watch TV anymore, but maybe we get some on streaming apps or on YouTube or billboards or newspapers to educate, hey, you general public, maybe you shouldn't go freaking recreating right now because it's such a severe winter. We know you want to go hiking. We know you want to do cross-country skiing. We know you want to snowshoe, but hey, you're snowshoeing in those winter range, and you as well could impact these wildlife that I'm sure you still love, even though you don't hunt them.
Yeah.
But it's in that way, maybe some shed hunters could get more on board because they're feeling like they're just being shafted because they can't do it, but everyone else can go out there and do it. And then they have all these other hunts on top of it. You still have mountain lion hunts.
Here's the problem with education as a whole, though. I'm not talking hunting. I'm talking education from the most 30,000 foot level possible, right? The problem with education is it takes energy and time and dedication from the individual to actually be educated, right? So and if somebody doesn't want to be educated, it's very easy to just turn a blind eye and go the other way. And hey, you're not out anything. Your life doesn't change. You have your other shit to worry about, right? Taking kids to school and basketball practice and, whatever else you got going on in life, going to work. You got, a bunch of other stuff going on in the world that's just consuming your mind all the time. So the problem with education is we want people to be educated on we want all recreationists to be educated on what their impact is on the outdoors, on these wild animals, all these things. But it takes the individual to sit down, spend the time and energy, actually have it connect in their head of why it matters, what it is that we are trying to change or protect or whatever it is. They have to have that connection in their mind. It takes so much time and energy and understanding from the individual itself to actually get into that. That's the problem with education. So I agree, it's an education thing, right? To all recreationists.
All recreationists.
It takes hard time and energy. But if they don't care, then they don't care, right? If you're a side-by-side driver and you're tearing up BLM country and all that stuff, look, you have just as much right out there as I do on public land to do what you want. Follow the rules, don't break the rules. I got rules to follow as a hunter. You got rules to follow as an off-roader. But you don't do what I do and I don't do what you do. We both don't have any more, right to be out there over each other. But we do have to understand what each of us are trying to protect and those things. It just takes the individual's time and energy to sit down and have it connect.
I understand. I get the shed hunters feel. I mean, if you read through the press release, I think the word that the state, I want to say, a major impact to mule deer and elk herds, and it was directly targeted at shed hunters. And the argument, as you read through the comments, there's so many people that are saying, just like you are, there's people that are out there recreating, they're cross-country skiing, they're hiking. Yeah. I'm just going to say this is probably controversial. I'm going to piss off some of my shed
controversial. I hope you're doing what you're going to do.
Let's get controversial here.
I don't know. I mean, I'll probably piss off some of my shed hunting buddies, but here's the thing. Most people that are out recreating, they're hiking a trail.
Yep.
They're not hiking a south-facing slope at 9,000 feet and just gritting the shit out of that thing looking for an elk horn.
Correct.
People that are out, cross-country skiing, same thing. They're mostly sticking to 2-track roads, trails. I don't think that's an apples-to-apples comparison. I don't think I do think shed hunters have a greater impact on disturbance of wildlife during that time frame.
They're actually on the wintering ground.
Yeah, and they're
searching the wintering ground.
They're going through the brush.
If they're any good, they are, right? Yeah. If they're good at it, right? I mean, they're out there cross-country travel, hiking. they're hitting all those pockets where you would anticipate finding a shed, which is where the animals is. So disproportionately, I do think shed hunters have a greater impact than your day-to-day recreation. You know,
You can't. I personally think you can't argue that, right? Like,
I don't think you can argue that. That's my opinion. But that's one thing I've heard people say, shed hunters mostly, hey, we're pissed off because why doesn't everybody else have to, quit doing what they're doing, which I get.
If somebody told me as a hunter, everyone else can go into that place, but you can't because you're hunting, I would be pissed.
Yeah.
Be like, well, they're bad. I understand where they're coming from, for sure. I get, feeling like you're shafted and everybody else gets to do what they want, but you don't get to do what you want.
And then,
however, what you are doing is directly tied to the animals.
That resource.
To the resource that we were trying to protect. Everyone else out there is not, right? Like you ride a dirt bike, you're on a road or a trail, right? Like, yeah, it's noisy, it's all this shit, but you're not pushing them out of beds. You're not like jumping them out of areas. You're not going through their brows and, scent everywhere when they're already stressed out, all that stuff. You're not like actually on the ground that they're on, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it is, I don't see how you could argue that they're apples to apples.
No, they're definitely not.
Apples.
And the crazy thing to me is the people that complain today are the same people that are going to complain in the fall when they're not seeing big deer or deer. They literally will. It goes back too. Like they'll always say like, hey, X state is terrible at management. They need to do something to fix this problem. State does something. They put a little ban in place.
State's terrible.
The state's terrible. They're wrecking everything. They're doing
this.
everything horrible. They're not thinking about wildlife.
Yeah.
They're thinking about blah blah. It's like you can't win.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm off social, but I do go through go hunts every now and again just to stay up to date. And I wish I could remember this guy's name so I could give him a shout out. The guy's from Utah. And he does have some of the funniest back and forth. Like some of those Instagram posts, they'll be like one person will play like both sides of the table and they'll go back.
Oh yeah, what is that guy's name?
Dude, he is so funny. He's like, let me get this right. I can ride my motorcycle on this road. Yep. And if there's a shed laying right there, I can't stop and pick up that shed. No, because then it becomes a shed hunt. But I can ride my motorcycle right through. He does a good job of explaining like the very simplistic form of the very simple side of like what the shed hunting ban is. However, it is a much more complicated thing where, that's, his point being one individual riding a dirt bike on a road. Totally get it. But when you put hundreds, if not thousands of people on the ground off of the trails and roads, gritting the shit out of a south-facing slope where, these animals are bedded and using for feed and, their water source and all this shit, and you're stressing them out on a tough year where they don't really have a lot of other country to get to. Right? Like they don't have a ton of usable country. The guy makes a good point, like I said, for that simplistic thing, but it's not that simple. Yeah. That's the difference.
I think the guy you're talking about, Western_muleys.
Oh yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah.
Let me,
Travis, what's his name?
Travis Scholl.
Yeah, guy does a great job of it. He does a very good job.
Going the back and forth sides, like UDW, like a UDWR meeting.
The guy is hilarious. I was laughing my ass off because he's right. I mean, he's genuinely right. The problem is when you get to the masses of the thousands of people being off trail and off trail, and
game
being,
trail.
Get off trail.
and gridding the shit out of those south facing.
Yeah.
Bedding.
Shed hunting is definitely more popular than
it's ever been
than it was when I was a kid growing up.
And I think I know, and I'm willing to argue this without data and facts, but I am willing to argue it till I'm blue in the face. It's because tags have gotten a lot harder to get, right? So like some of the enjoyment in hunting now is, the grown up Easter egg hunt, which, we all make fun of as much as we can. Look, I respect the shit out of it. Don't get mad at me. I'm just saying, I'm not a shed hunter. I don't understand it. It's a grown-up Easter egg hunt for me. But I do understand where people are coming from, where if you can't get tags, and it wouldn't stop me from going out and glassing these animals and finding these, big bucks, elk, whatever it is. I want to go, if I could never get a tag, which, use Insider, promo code podcast and find some other places to go hunting, because that is not an excuse that you can't get a tag. You can get all the tags you want if you're willing to like be adventurous.
It is fun. I mean, I love to shed hunt, and I get it. I mean, I
don't like it.
I like it. I really enjoy it. It's fun. It's a good time of year to get out in the spring. It's fun to hike. It's fun to pick up an antler, and like you're saying,
in the spring, when you're out there already,
it is a grown-up Easter egg hunt.
Is it a participation trophy?
No, I don't think so.
Participation trophy, yes.
I mean, I don't know. I know I haven't sold sheds in a long time. I have a big pile. that I need to get rid of. But I personally know people that I think if they had the choice between...
You're monetizing wildlife?
Yeah. But
Doesn't that get into that conversation
Yeah,
now?
it does. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're as high. I'm hearing $18 a pound potentially.
Wow. Well, that's right. I heard that
which
the other
is
day.
high. I mean, I think 13 is like maybe as high as I'd ever remember hearing it, but 18. But I know people personally that I think if you had them pick between shed hunting and hunting in the fall, they'd pick shed hunting.
Yeah.
Like they genuinely love.
See,
that's the
that's the thing I don't understand. I don't get
people
that.
really dig it, and I get that. Let me ask you. I wanted to get into this before I forget about it. Some of the other. I hate to say people whining, but
Yeah.
Some of the other things.
A lot of whiners out there.
Some of the comments I saw some saying, how can the division justify this shed closure when we're hunting, cow elk into January? I saw one comment where somebody said, I literally saw the division flying, helicopter and catching deer and elk, collaring them, same time of year, same winter range. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it's
I don't think you could argue the impact, like that the impact itself, right? If you're just doing a 1-for-1 comparison, the difference is there's a lot more to everything. It is never just a 1-for-1 comparison, right? Those things that they are doing have implications for future management. They have implications for future goals and things. And the late season cow hunts, all this stuff, like you can control that by the tag numbers, tag quotas, right? You can control it by areas that are open. You can do all that. When it's a shed hunt, when it's a free-for-all shed hunt, you can't control anything. It's just recreators being out there on every south-facing slope. As many people out there. There's no quotas. There's no anything. Yeah. Like, if they want to go down that argument, then okay, let's do a raffle for who can go shed hunting. Because if it's hunting,
I hate to see it go to that.
I don't want to, don't get me wrong. I absolutely do not want that. Let me be absolutely fucking clear. I do not want that. But it's like, it's not an apples to apples comparison because one of them is just a complete recreation activity, no management, no like greater good, no conservation aspect to it, right? Those other sides have an impact to support a future goal. They're there for a reason, like flying and catching animals. Yeah, bro, that's what it takes. That's what biology takes.
That data is going to go back into...
Exactly. It's going to help them in the long run. I'm sure they are collecting. They're not just doing it to like... It's not like they're fly fishing out there, catch and release, and just buzzing off and go to the next place. They're doing it for a reason, right? Yeah. And those late season cow elk hunts, they're doing it for a reason.
Yeah, they're managing those elk herds.
Yeah.
For again, it might be coming down to some winter range stuff later. And I've seen some of the stuff too. Like, well, you go on those late season cow hunts, you're not just taking one cow, you're taking multiple because that cow, is pregnant.
Not if you shoot calf.
Yeah. But then I saw some other comments too that were really interesting. They're like, what about the mountain lion hunters?
Yeah.
Like they're running mountain lions in the winter range because that's where the deer are and that's where the mountain lions are going to be. And the elk are going to be in the same areas. And you're running lions, trying to take those lions, which is also going to benefit wildlife later on.
That's a conservation thing. You can't
tool.
Hunt prey and not hunt predators. Like it's part of it.
And you can still coyote hunt. Like you can still go out there and do all that.
Don't pick up that shed when you see it though.
So that's the weird thing too. It's like what that guys say, like, what if I am out there on an elk or any type of other hunt or something and I stumble upon a shed, you can't pick it up, but then I'm going to go into that area later and then disturb him again. So I'm disturbing him twice where I could just pick it up once. It's like,
he makes a great, honestly, the guy had me busting up laughing. The guy makes a phenomenal point.
I did read the definition of gathering. So gathering antlers, if that includes a lot more than just...
Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, it's more than just going out. Like, so I've heard a lot of people be like, I have personal friends that are like, we're going to go out, we're going to hike, because hiking is still legal, right?
Yeah.
We can go out and hike. We're just going to, GPS, we're going to stash them. That falls within the definition of gathering. So if you're out hiking, GPSing shed antlers, you're stashing them in a tree, you are technically in violation of this mandate. So
to hopefully stop you from going in and disturbing them twice.
And that's where I think, though, they might need a better definition of the term gathering and literally lay it out there, because at the end of the day, why some of these people might get mad is because you're, again, only impacting the honest shed hunters who aren't going to go out and do that. So the guys who are willing to bend the law or say, hey, we're out here bird watching today, or I'm out here taking my dog for a stroll, I happen to find this shed, my dog ended up picking up and bringing it to me, so I'm just going to toss it in this tree, and find and mark it on my GPS for later. It's like
the hard part about all this is that it's going to be extremely difficult to enforce. So
our lifestyle is the most self-policed lifestyle on planet Earth. Honestly, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that is more self-policed than the lifestyle that we live as hunters and conservationists, right? And that's what it comes down to, is like who's going to self-police them at a moral level that this all works, right? And it's like there's loopholes to every law. My dog picked up the shed and brought it back to me, and now is that gathering? Who knows? Yeah. But it's all up to like self-policing to a moral level that it's for the greater good, right? Like all of us are hunters at heart first. Well, maybe not some of your friends who would choose.
But I get that though. Like wild to me. If they do love shed hunting, like that's their thing, and it's like it does feel bad for them.
Oh, it sucks.
I get it. But like, if you told me I couldn't do what I wanted to do, and everyone else could.
The thing that sucks is that it's not that they can't do it. I mean, think how incredible it would be if everybody just abided by the law.
Yeah.
We got to April or May 1st, and it was opening day of shed season. I mean, those guys are going to go out. They're going to get a chance to hunt. And actually, reality is for the diehards, they're probably going to do better because those animals will have not been bumped from ridge to ridge to ridge to ridge to ridge. You're not going to pick up a single elk horn and then never find the other side of it, Yeah. So in reality, it could be good, but that's like in a perfect world, you know. Everyone just abides by the law.
Yeah.
Hey, we abide by the law as hunters, right? Like we only have certain days to hunt. Hunt's open at certain times.
That's the thing. I mean, you get a chance to hunt in the fall. You have a set season. It might be 8 days, 10 days, whatever
shed
it is.
hunting season. Like I agree.
It's not that you can't go shed hunting. It's just you got to abide by the law.
You got to wait for the season.
Yeah. Do you think some of these people who might be upset about that there is now shed season and it's a little bit later could, snowpack and all this stuff, make it easier to find sheds? You might have some green up and growth start happening by the time they might get in there. And so it makes finding the antlers a little bit harder. Or do you think it pushes back so later that people are then starting to switch into other activities, like they want to go fishing, they want to do other things, and so like maybe they want to shed hunt right now when there's nothing else going on.
If you're a diehard, then
if you're a diehard, it's not going to impact you. But
nothing's going to impact my hunting season. Like there's nothing I want to do more. Nothing is getting in the way.
I'm going to pee my pants if I don't go to the bathroom right now. So I'm going to dip. You guys keep talking.
We'll keep
I'm going to be right back. I apologize. Right. My bad.
Are you still drinking your gallon of water?
That's it.
I love it.
The gallon water a day, baby.
You still drinking your gallon of water?
Yep. That's why I wasn't going to have my other bottle in here, but speaking of it, we got this new GOHUNT Orange.
Yeah. Thing's badass too.
It's a new light Nalgene.
The ultralight Nalgene.
Yeah, the ultralight Nalgene. I beat the crap out of it this past weekend trying to test it out.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to be drinking it full gallon a day.
It's awesome.
Oh. That's as far as I can possibly take it with having to pee. I took it right to the brink.
That was the limit?
Yeah, I took it right to the brink. I was at a point where I want Brady to finish talking, but I don't know if I can go that long.
I could keep talking, so.
We just need to get you a catheter.
That's what we were just saying. I was just sitting there. I was like, I just need a pee bag. That's what it is.
All right, back to shed hunting.
Yep.
So
go. No, go. Make your point.
So I made the point that I think it's going to be really hard to enforce, and I think that's the issue. But I don't think that that's a justification. I've heard that too, like, oh, how are you going to enforce this? That's a justification for just not doing it, right? Yeah. But if you look back in history, you look at, I would say, look at poaching. Poaching when I was a kid, like a young kid, it wasn't accepted, but the gray area was much more. It was a wider gray area.
Yeah.
Party hunting was a thing. And I mean, I've talked to old timers. I talked to one old timer. I remember having a conversation with him. He went out deer hunting before school one day. He said, I jumped 7 bucks. I shot all 7 bucks. He's like, then I went to school. I got all my buddies that had tags. We went back. We tagged all those 7 deer. Right. So, and it was like, yeah, kind of okay. You know what I mean? But like, I would say progressively now, I think we're at a point where like people will not put up with poaching. Like we police each other. Like we're pretty, I mean, and there's programs that different states have. Utah has one. I mean, if you turn in a poacher, they're convicted.
That's the best program on planet Earth. If you turn in a poacher, you get a tag for that unit.
Yeah, you get a tag, right?
Awesome.
For potentially that next year. But I guess is what I'm saying is like the justification, people saying like, hey, this isn't enforceable, isn't a reason that this is not a good idea, especially on a year like this. You know? I think we need, and I think progressively, to be honest, and this is just me, and again, I'm going to piss some people off, probably some really close friends, to be honest, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings at all, not one bit. If from now on out, we just said in the state, all Western states, to be honest, all Western states, we're going to have a shed opener season of May 1st. And it just became status quo that was opening day of shed season. People could go out and shed hunt. And I think over time, progressively, as hunters,
it would become the norm.
It'd become the norm. And we'd
and
adopt
we'd be okay with it.
And this is what comes into my mind about the self-police thing, right? Like I find I take a ton of pride in being a hunter and conservationist that self-policing is like the most important thing, right? Like that moral compass, that personal moral compass of making the right decision in the moment. Is it an ethical thing? Is what I'm doing right now ethical? Is what I'm doing right now for the betterment of these animals, right? Like the shed hunters need to have the same mentality. It's just because you're hunting is technically a recreation as well. We are recreating on the land. Now we are policed by, at a scientific level of tag quotas and from biologists and all this stuff. But like, as a shed hunter, what they are doing is also directly tied to the wildlife itself. They don't have it without the wildlife, right? So like, is their moral compass, lower, same, or higher than what a hunter and conservation, like a true hunter conservationist is, right? It's like you got to be able to self-police and have that moral compass to understand why this is for the greater good of the wildlife itself. And I entirely agree with you. And if I piss some people off, I don't really care because I don't have a lot of close shed hunting friends. But like that season makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, and it's just a personal feeling, personal opinion of mine. It just wouldn't hurt my feelings. I think it'd be good. I think overall it'd be good for the resource. And
it really would be. I agree
for
with
the resource itself.
Yeah,
I agree with that date because that's the same date as a lot of these other, what are they called, wildlife management areas when they open up shed hunting in a certain time frame. What was that, midnight on some of those winter ranges? It's like you could just do it at that date. But I also wanted to ask your opinion on it too, the public versus private for shed hunting. Because like a lot of these is public and private land. But I think it's the same thing goes into, well, the laws when we're out hunting are for both public and private for the most part. There's some different things like
trail cameras is a little different.
Yeah, CWMUs, kind of some different.
Yeah, there's some difference. But overall,
it's still going to be a benefit because that wildlife does go on your private land. It goes on public land. So it's like if you're on private, you can pick that up on May 1st.
Yeah,
like there's going to be no pressure there. You don't have to worry about it. I think that's what some of these people might be a little worried about is they could get a jump start on someone else.
Well, that's my point of the self-policing is like, can you rein yourself, having that thought eat at you that somebody else could go get it before you illegally. Is that going to make you also go be illegal in gathering and GPSing and stashing these things in trees? But
like what Trail said, it eventually could become status quo and you'll be okay with it across the entire West.
Yeah. And to your point about private land, by the way, I just want to make this point real quick. I actually think the private land, they have more responsibility because more often than not, where private land lies is
winter range.
Right? I think they have more responsibility to leave them lie, to let it sit. I mean, they don't have the worry of somebody coming in illegal in the back of their mind. That's going to then motivate them to go do something a little shady, right? They don't have that, so they should very easily be able to abide by a May 1st rule every single year. I mean, it's primarily private land is where, that's that winter range stuff.
Yeah. What do you think then about like this new Wyoming bill that you saw passed around? So what that basically was like is a Wyoming shed hunting permit.
Yeah.
For non-residents.
For non-resident, but also to be a 7-day non-resident shed hunting delay.
Yeah.
So residents of the state, again, would get that little benefit. Sure, they live there. But non-residents are going to get that 7-day delay. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, sure. Yeah. Whatever, Wyoming.
Whatever. But again,
at this point with Wyoming, I'm just like, man, they're just taking every opportunity. It seems like it anyway. And I don't know if this is like with the task force or who this is, but it just seems like they're constantly. And I can't blame them. I mean, you're a resident of Wyoming.
You're a resident of Wyoming.
I get it. You love your state. You love your resources. You got phenomenal resources in Wyoming. I get it. If I lived in Wyoming, I'd probably be real, ultra protective as it seems that they are right now. I mean, it just seems like a lot of the bills and laws that are coming through that state right now are pretty directly aimed at non-residents. I'd be interested, like how many people, maybe there's a bunch. I don't know.
There's a bunch, yeah.
I would be curious to know kind of what this stems from. To me, it feels like more of a gut reaction like, oh, hey,
we can get some more money out of this.
Let's get a little money out of this. We'll stick it a little bit to non-residents.
But here's the thing that would solve all this. Like we're talking about earlier with trail.
Yeah.
If every state was May 1st, those people who live in, I'm not going to pick on Utah again. Like
pick on them.
Nevada.
Live in Nevada.
Yeah.
If Nevada's May 1st, Utah's May 1st, Wyoming's May 1st, don't you think you're going to shed hunt your home state in May 1st and not go to Wyoming?
Of course.
Yeah. So then you're not going to need that 7-day grace period for the state of Wyoming because you're going to want to hit your home state because you've been able to, over the years, know where they shed and whatever rather than going to Wyoming. So you wouldn't need that.
Yeah.
You might not need that non-resident thing because every state just opened on May 1st. You're going to have people shed hunt their home state before they go to a different state.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're not going to have to worry about this whole non-resident resident battle that we're always in. It seems like in every single Western state where non-residents always feel.
Yeah, I think there's a very natural thought that, the dots connect with that thought for sure. Like I think that would naturally happen. No question. Right. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say, but like, it seems pretty fucking natural in my mind.
Here's the thing with all this talk about shed hunters and shed hunting and, seasons and, permits and all that. Like, I have a lot of friends that are shed hunters. I read all the comments. I get the frustration. Like, if you're a diehard shed hunter, like if somebody told me you can't archery elk hunt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would, I'd feel slighted, right? I'd feel like, oh man, that's my thing. That's what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
So I get I get some level of frustration. Like I get it. And I would say primarily their biggest concern is that really all you're going to do is you're going to, like you said, the honest. So the honest are not going to go. They're going to stay home. And then the 3-5% people that go out there and break the law are going to clean up.
Yeah.
And I think you see it in Nevada. I've heard it anyway.
Yes.
I don't shed hunt in Nevada that much, but I've heard it kind of happens that way. There's a few people that go out and really clean up, and they do great because there's nobody else out on the landscape, right?
Yeah.
I get it. Like I get the level of frustration. I sympathize a little bit, I guess I should say. But again, I think you got to look at it on the big picture.
Yep.
I sympathize with it a lot, just to be clear. Like if you can put it in any point, anything in your life, right? Like nothing more than I love than to go to the gym in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. And I primarily lift. I love to lift. I fucking hate cardio, as I think everybody.
Swear jar.
It shows. Well, I'm passionate about it. I think it shows by just looking at me.
Your arms are bigger than my legs.
If somebody told me, you can't go to the gym until May 1st because you lift weights, but these guys can go to the gym because they're only on the cardio equipment. We got to give. When you boil it down to like an unbelievably simple viewpoint, like totally understand and sympathize with it that you don't get to do what you want, but other people are out there in the same areas doing what they want. Totally get it. But it's not that simple. Like that's the point I feel like should come across very easily when somebody would just open their mind up, not get overprotective, not get pissed off enough to just see red and nothing else. It's like, this is a much bigger picture. You are tied to something much bigger than just that shed hunt, right? Like it is something, it is tied directly to the resource just like hunting is.
Yep.
And I think, if the diehard shed hunters could calm down just enough to see that, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it makes more sense.
And again, I think if you adopted it and you just said, "Hey, this is it. We're going this direction." I think in time it might take several years, but I think people would generally adopt it. Most people are pretty good about following the law.
Yeah.
I think we're really good, and we're good about self-policing and even a little bit.
We're great at it on the other sides of it.
Yeah, we're great, and I would say increasingly becoming better. Right?
I totally
when you talk
agree.
Game violations, poaching. I think we've gotten a whole lot better. At least in my lifetime, we have, and I think you'd see the same thing if you just adopted it. My opinion, again, I think it's good for the resource. So I'm in favor. I don't know if you're not. Drop a comment below and just chew our asses. I'd love to hear it.
By all means, I could sound like the biggest idiot ever right here, and by all means, like somebody has a point to say it, I'm all for it, and I want to understand it, but I do sympathize with it. I just want everybody to understand, like if you're looking for a conversation of sympathy, bro, I'm here for you because that does suck to be told you can't do it, but you got to see the bigger picture, in my opinion.
And then to throw something on top of it, you're going to get a little more into the weeds. What about all these people who are going out there taking photographs of wildlife on winter ranges before they're even dropping. And also,
Yeah,
son, you have.
I think that
that's
falls
also
in the
either
same-
a very finite time of year too, because it's winter's starting.
Yeah.
It's getting harsh, and now they're on the winter range. They're not dropping sheds yet, but you got like it's an easy spot to go take pictures of some giant bucks and
Wildly
giant
easy.
bulls.
Yeah, especially on a year like this where there's only so much
So
usable
again,
winter
that's a
range.
different use case of people going out there,
But it's directly tied to the resource
Directly
itself.
tied to the resource
and
as
I
well.
think, look, I'm a libertarian at heart. Government needs to stay out of everything. Let us do our own thing. However, rules are made for a reason and made for the certain types of people out there. But I do, this goes against me and my general feel of government staying out of everything. But like, if one domino falls like this, right, then it makes it easier for the next one to be like photography of the wildlife on the winter range to be thrown into it as well, right? Like it takes progression. It can't all happen at once. That's my general opinion. Again, could sound like a complete idiot, but like, then things can start being thrown into, okay, what else is directly tied to the resource that we need to give a break until May 1st?
yeah.
You see that argument too. I've seen the phrase government overreach thrown around a lot, and I get it. I think there's something to it, but again, I think things progress. There's never been more people that are interested in shed hunting. I mean, things change. We're not operating in the same environment that I grew up in. I mean, there's way more people generally just living. I mean, across the winter range, there's more people shed hunting. There's more people we've seen applying for hunts in the West. Things progress. So like we I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing that I tell environmentalists. Like we're not going back to the 1800s.
Yeah.
We're just not. There's more people here than ever.
Never happen.
Yeah.
There's also more people snowmobiling and cross-country skiing and backcountry skiing in areas where there is sheep living, there's mountain goats living. Like, you have encroachment across the whole board.
Yes, the way I see it, I see it as things have to change sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. And it has to change with, it has to navigate this, the proper change of what's changing outside of the world itself of just hunting, like we're talking about, right? Like if I'm making any sense here. The hunting world is changing, but so is the outward world as well, right? It's like it's all changing at once. It's just got to follow suit, right?
Yep, absolutely.
It's an interesting conversation, though. I'll tell you that. Like,
it's a fun one to talk about, just like to hear everyone's opinions on this.
Yeah.
And like, yes, there's no right or wrong.
You don't
answer
ever want to
here.
be told you can't do something, especially by the government.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's why I said here for sympathy. But when you look at the greater good.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. I'll go out May 1st, take the kids, see if we can find some sheds. Maybe there won't be any. Maybe probably all we'll see is boot tracks. But it is what it is. And I mean, for people that say like it's not that big of a deal and there aren't that many shed hunters on the landscape. I mean, I can only speak really from my personal experience, and I would suggest that there's definitely more people on landscape. I used to have honey holes in units near where I grew up. I used to go in there every single year, and I could pick up 3 or 4 sheds every year, guaranteed, if I hit that honey hole. Last year I went in there, I picked up 1 shed and ran into a guy that evening in the road. He had 4 or 5. I said, how's it going? You had a good day? Yeah. I talked about it. He goes, yeah, my buddies are coming. We'll see what they did. There were 9 people, and they had literally gridded that whole hillside. And I think they picked up 26, but they were lined out 100 yards across this entire ridge, and they had gridded that whole entire hillside. So like to me, like there's more people, and then the impact's there. I think.
Yeah.
I entirely agree.
And again, it's a personal opinion.
I don't understand how you could fight that side of it, though. Like that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I sympathize, again, just to be clear, but like when you look at it as from the 30,000 foot view, I don't understand how you could argue that. And now you do that on a year like this where there's only so much usable winter range.
Yep.
And you get guys strung out across the ridgeline and jumping deer going left, right, in their home, in where they're trying to be safe. They're already stressed out. They still have a long winter ahead of them.
Yep.
Like
it's not over at all.
It's not over. You look at what's coming in next week, just down here, right? Like the winter's not over.
No,
they still got a long ways to go.
Yeah. At the time of recording, it's March 2nd.
Yeah.
And there's still.
If you start shed hunting now, like there is still a lot of winter left.
These late spring snowstorms that always happen in all these states, get hard crust going on, like get some really cold temperatures, like whew.
Yeah.
I would love to see the comments on this one though.
That'd be good. Yeah, drop us comments. I welcome.
I honestly want to hear people's opinions.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a fan.
If they're against it or for what we're saying.
I'm a fan of open conversation. Like I have my opinion and my viewpoint, and I'm willing to talk it through, but I'm also willing to understand somebody else's viewpoint if they make a good point.
Yeah.
'Cause I think too, like hunters and people who are passionate about this have done a really good job of commenting on even the UDWR's Instagram post. I really hope maybe some of the people in these states are starting to read these public comments or comments on our YouTube video about this podcast or some of the articles that anyone can see, and they start realizing, hey, these people are talking about some things. Maybe we should take some of that in consideration. That's a good opinion. Maybe we should just expand on this stuff and like grab all that stuff because it's not a public comment period. It's not an official thing where you can submit your comments, but it's a great way they might be able to take some of that feedback and listen to some other people too about how we can maybe collectively have something better for the wildlife and better for the sportsman at the same time by listening to everyone's thoughts, opinions, rants, whatever it may be.
Listening to it from all angles.
All angles right now. And you have a great way to do that with, how passionate people were about it. And maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe afterwards people are like, hey, it was great. The shed hunting was awesome because everyone had to wait.
I'm with what Trail said earlier. If everyone truly followed the rule, it's a law, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the law.
Right now,
So if everyone followed the law and there was, nobody did the shady shit of going out there and tried to get the head start and gather and GPS core. If everyone truly waited till May 1st, it would be better.
Yeah. It would be better.
And it would be better in your home state. It'd be better, like if all the states just had that season of May 1st, I genuinely think it would be better.
Yeah. We've, I'm going to switch just real quick. We talked a lot about Utah.
Yep.
We had Dax and Mike on the podcast.
I love that podcast.
Yeah, it was a good podcast, and I appreciate those guys coming on. There's something, as I listened to that podcast back, there was one thing that kind of stuck out to me. In Utah application coming up, we've talked a lot about Utah. It's in April, into April. There was one thing that I wanted to know, and I don't know if we'll get a chance again on a podcast to like really talk about the Utah draw, and we've kind of beat it to death anyway. But we talked about it. But there is one thing I wanted to talk about that he said that I think is worth noting, especially for guys that are applying for elk in Utah. And that was with the new elk plan, the percentage breakdowns for the allocation of permits. Mm-hmm. So previously to this plan, I went down and I broke some of the hunts out to see how tag numbers laid out, right? So under the new regulations, 25% for a limited entry elk hunt will go to archery.
Yep.
60% to rifle. And then within that rifle category, they're going to break that down into 10% early rifle, 30% mid rifle. So that's that new October season, which will be on all units. 17% late rifle, 15% muzzleloader, 3% multi-season, right? So the thing I thought that was interesting in that is that previously the breakdown for early rifle was like 28% in some of those hunts. That early rifle hunt now goes to 10%.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a pretty significant swing. And now you've got that 30% of the permits now being allocated to the mid-rifle season. So just to give you an example, and I'll wrap this up real quick, but just to give you an example, I looked at a unit in Utah, the Dutton, which is was out my back door when I was a kid growing up. So from 2022, Dutton early rifle elk hunt. So that's a September elk hunt, right?
Yeah.
15 permits were allocated. We stick with this new elk rule and we go into this year, 5 tags. So that's a 10 tag
Swing.
potential swing.
Yeah.
So if you're a guy and you're applying for Utah and you've got a bunch of points and you've been banking and you're looking at that early rifle September elk hunt, you need to really dig in and start to look at this, what that could potentially mean to you, because that's 10 tags less.
Yeah, that's going to sway your draw odds.
That's going to sway your draw odds. So I would say take that in mind. Your better odds are going to be for those mid rifle hunts. And that may not be, it may be the type of hunt you're looking for, because like I said, it's an October hunt versus a prime rut hunt.
Yeah.
But consider there's definitely going to be less early season rifle elk tags. So I wanted to hit that.
Just as a, coming from the conservation mind here, I do like cutting those
prime rut
tags.
Well,
I mean, there's if you just look at the Western landscape as a whole, the amount of states that offer a public draw for like just the absolute prime elk rut hunting dates with a rifle.
Yeah, not many.
Yeah. And it's for a reason, right? Like it's for the greater good of the resource. And
I've
I've hunted it before, taken advantage of it before. I've hunted that quite a bit. Growing up in Nevada, southern Utah was kind of that's what we did, right? Like my family, everybody. And we've hunted the shit out of those prime rifle dates as when I was a kid growing up, and still, got a lot of friends, family, getting those tags every so often. Like, we took advantage of it, don't get me wrong, but I am a fan of kind of pushing that out a little bit.
Yeah, and if you look at the breakdown, like Dak said, I mean, they were tasked with trying to increase opportunity while still maintaining a trophy experience, if you will. So that's
they did a good job breaking that down too on the podcast.
I think they did.
A really good job.
Yeah, they really did. But I did.
Made a lot of sense.
Yeah, as I was kind of prepping for this week, that was something that kind of caught my ear as I was listening to that podcast. And you hear percentages thrown out. I heard him when he said it. He kind of broke them down for me.
Yeah, but when you put it in real terms,
when you put it in real,
terms,
in terms like, hey, this is a potential, 15 tag to 5 tag swing. I mean, that's pretty significant for guys.
Did you do math on any of the limited entry units that have higher end tag quotas?
I didn't. I just looked at that one right now just to see what it would be like in, layman's terms, if you will, just to give an example of what you could potentially be looking at. And, as I go through and I do the application strategy article for Utah, I'll try to break those down to my best ability on what I think. And the other good thing about Utah this year is they did move their draw deadline back. And those tag recommendations will have been made through the rack process. So we will have a much better idea of how many permits you are potentially available.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
And they've never had that before.
No, you're going in blind to Utah.
Yep.
Usually.
Usually.
Or in the past.
Yep. Which really isn't a big deal until you get to the point level where you're like, man, I could potentially draw a tag. You definitely want to know how many permits you are competing for.
It's your mountain goat story.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I did want to touch on that.
And if you guys want to listen to that podcast, that is episode 57.
The mountain goat one?
No.
Dax?
Yeah.
Which you did bring up your mountain goat in that one.
Yeah,
What happened
did.
there? Episode 57, big bulls, bucks, and hunting in Utah. So that was the podcast you want to check out.
Yeah.
Big hunt guys. So
they did a good job of breaking that down.
It was a really fun podcast
really
to listen to. And I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, again, I'll be honest, because we're in the podcast, but that's the one I listened to again.
Me too.
Because there was so much really good information in there. And just those guys were amazing to talk to. I felt like we had a really good conversation. Like I
loved in the beginning too. And you're like, Dax, you ever read those comments? He goes, well, if I'm ever feeling really good about myself, I'll go in there and knock myself down a peg or two. That's pretty funny.
Well, cool.
That's what we're gonna get on ourselves here with this shed hunting and all this shit.
Yeah,
People are gonna come in and knock
Mm-hmm.
us down a peg or two.
I just want to touch on one more thing.
Yeah.
What?
Our boy Trail over here is starting his own podcast.
Yes, he is. The Game Trail.
That's
Game
it.
Trail. How'd this name come up? Because I think I was gone.
You were gone. You were javelina hunting.
Javelina hunting.
Yeah, we kind of kicked around the idea. I can't even remember what else was proposed. I can't remember. Right out the gate, people had kicked some ideas around. I don't know. I think I probably just kicked. I was on a run one morning and just thinking about possible names, and that one just seemed to stick.
Yeah,
a little play on my name and.
Clinton Forest Trail.
Yeah, Forest Trail. We could call it the Forest Game Trail. Forest Game Trail. Too much, right?
No, I'm excited for this one too. And just so everybody knows, like the reason why this came about is there is not a person out there that geeks out more on like the actual, not like the purpose of the gear, but the actual gear itself. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
he literally buys multiple of everything just to test them out.
And not like I'm saying, I don't know how to make this make sense if you don't know trail, but like not just for the use case of the gear itself, but like truly the way it's built, the reason why it was built that way, the materials it's made out of, like literally the purpose for everything involved in that piece of gear. So it's a very like gear based use case for a gear-based podcast.
Yeah. So we're going to do it. I'm going to be doing twice a month.
Yeah.
So bi-monthly. Is that right?
Bi-monthly.
Yeah. And it's going to be gear heavy. And like you guys said, I'm kind of a self-admitted gear nerd, gear junkie. I don't know why. It just worked out that way. I just like.
You were just programmed that way.
I just like stuff. I like playing with stuff, trying different things. So it's going to be pretty heavy gear driven. I'll have some guests hopefully sometimes. Then there's sometimes like today, I'm going to be doing the first podcast on my own, and I'm going to take a run at that. So it'll be like 45, 50 minutes of myself just rambling. I'm going to try to do some Q&A at the end of each podcast. We put a feeler out yesterday, and we've had pretty decent response.
Those comments were really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed reading through those comments.
Yeah, screenshot.
I mean, bro, if people are trying to learn some shit about gear and the use cases for gear, this is about as good as it gets.
Yep. I may do some rambling like we did today.
Yeah.
You know,
and the thought process behind this was we're all lucky enough to have Trail on text, cell phone, see him in the office all the time. Trail, what is this for? What should I use?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? We want other people to have that experience with Trail. Like we're too lucky to just be able to be like, hey man, should I use this?
So it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said today, record the first podcast. I think middle of March, the first one will come out, and we're gonna call it the Game Trail.
Awesome.
The Game Trail.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Like Clinton Forest.
You're my boy,
Trail
Blue.
criteria.
I'm gonna be hoarse at the end of the day.
Yeah,
No.
no talking.
Yeah, this is more talking than I do in a week. Easy.
I know, I agree. It's kind of why I like the podcast too, is because it's I'm pretty quiet day to day. I'm a listener more than a talker, but this kind of you just get to put it out there. It's nice.
Well, good deal. That was a good one. I'm interested to see if you guys got comments. So if you got comments about the podcast,
I know I am too.
Yeah, drop them below. I'd love to see it.
Yep. It was a fun one. Glad we could sit around finally and get the boys back.
Yeah.
And just have a fun
Mission
conversation. We're trying to avoid talking about some of this stuff. Like I mentioned it to you the other day, like stop talking right now.
We got to save it.
We got to save it for the podcast. Yeah. So
we all know each other enough that we kind of know, but it is nice to hear it all the way through.
I think it's good. It's good to get some guests. It's also good to do these type of podcasts. I think it's good vibe, good discussion. So
The boys are buzzing. They're always good.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
appreciate you.